Yo, what's going on, guys? How's the volume? Hopefully it's good. What's up, Leo? How you doing? Welcome to the chat. Yeah, hopefully the song thing is not too loud. First time I'm doing a live with a song in the background, or like with music in the background, just to spice it up. Just to spice it up. So yeah, how's it going, everybody? Let me see here. Is that the chat? Okay, there we go. Cool. That's not the chat that I want. Damn. Cool wallpaper, thanks. That's not a wallpaper, that's the thumbnail. And the art in it is made by Crane Art on Twitter, who's you can see the name right there. And I've also shouted him out on the on the what do you call it, on Twitter. So yeah, if you want to go follow and get like really well done art, definitely suggest checking him out. Let me just fix that up real quick. There you go. Okay. How's my audio, by the way? Not too low, not too loud, right? Hopefully, should be good. Oh, that's not it. Devices should be it. Okay. Yeah, I'm blasting. Should be blasting. I hope. Alright. Let me see. Okay, yeah, I should be loud enough. Hopefully not too loud. Alright, and Leo says it's okay. Great. Awesome. Thank you for confirming that for me. Let me just see here. Just gonna send this over before we get started. Jesus, okay. Okay. Very close to beginning, right? Thank you for holding on, Leo. We're gonna be talking very soon. Just give me a couple more minutes to get everything out in order, and then we'll start blasting off about the timeline pretty soon. Okay. Cool, let's get started. Wait, why isn't the music playing? Oh, it is? It is, isn't it? Okay. This is just a better thing. Okay. Cool. Okay, we've got Leopold and Yami in the same chat. Wow. That's crazy. But anyway, welcome everybody. We're going to be talking about a bunch of things. This is basically me in the midst of prepping for a video that I will be making in some time, right? It's not going to come out anytime soon. I think this is more of an end of the series kind of project. It's a big project, I will say, but ultimately, yeah, it is me trying to find out what the timeline of the Black Clover world is. And trust me, there's with everything that we've seen so far in the story, there is just so much, just so much stuff that happened that's happened so far. And the overall lore and everything about everything is insane, right, is insane. Okay, that's a spoiler as you saw on screen, but yeah, this is the entire timeline of Black Clover. I'm trying to kind of work it out, um, and trying to see if there's anything that I'm missing, anything that I can add, uh, or if I can reorder some of these things, in the timeline that I've come up with, and of course, finish up the timeline, right? Because I'm not done with it yet. But yeah, like just going through all of this is just it's just reminding me how insanely um, detailed a lot of Tabata's lore is, which ultimately as a fan is never enough because I want to learn and keep learning and keep never stop learning about the lore, the crazy cool lore of this world. So it's never gonna feel like enough, but at an overall level, yeah, it's great. It's like fantastic stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to go over today. Let me just see if I can get the audio. Like, I want to listen to the music, but also I don't want to like destroy my ears. You know what I'm saying? Right? So yeah, I'm just trying to fix the audio levels there. But yeah. Cool, this should be fine. Yeah, that's fine for me. Hopefully that's fine for you guys too. Actually, that's a little too loud for even me. Wow, okay. Okay, cool, whatever. You know what? Fuck the audio. Fuck the music. Okay, we don't need that. You got me. Okay, you got my talking. All right. So yeah, first of all, before we get started on the content and everything, we got some new news today, and we'll be getting 2 chapters. As we know, like this was revealed to us last week, that the new issue of Jump will be coming out on the 2nd of May with 2 new chapters. And today we got information that the first chapter is going to be 27 pages long, and the second one is going to be like 21 pages, which is fantastic because 48 pages is a lot. Ideally, I would want every single Giga drop to at least be like 51 pages because that's the maximum. I think page allotment that stories like things can get, like a series can get on Giga. And that is pretty standard for any quarterly manga release, right? 51 pages. So I would have preferred that, but 48, take what I can get. Like any Black Clover is good Black Clover for me. I'm not gonna be complaining that we're getting anything at all. So there you go. Make sure if you're here, make sure you like the stream. It definitely helps, and like retweet it on my Twitter. If you have Twitter, so more people can get eyes on it, because this is an interesting project that I'm embarking on, and I definitely think a lot more, people getting involved and talking about it and giving ideas is going to be a good thing ultimately, because at the end of the day, it's going to be like summing up the entire world of Black Clover, right from "and God said, let there be light," right up until the latest moments in the story. So yeah, so I am doing a big, what do you call it, like undertaking a Herculean task. And if I get the editing and everything right, this would be like a Bible for everybody to come back to, and be entertained by. So yeah, it's a pretty cool, pretty interesting concept. WK, what's up, dog? I don't give ideas for free though, so okay. I'm trying to see what I can bribe you, bribe you into doing this, into giving me ideas. Let me see. What kind of things can I do? Leo says, do you think we will get another time skip again? For sure, like after Lucius's defeat, before the final moments of the series, we'll get like a full time skip, like to see how everybody's doing. Obviously Asta, Yami, and all these guys, like getting married to Noelle, Charlotte, and everything like that. Probably is the king of the Spade Kingdom, which I'm not a big fan of that idea. I've made pretty clear, in earlier streams and videos and whatnot. So I'm not a big fan of that, but I do think that that's exactly where we're heading. And yeah, like we'll probably see Asta as the Wizard King sitting on the throne, or like like conducting his very own star ceremony. That would be pretty cool. So yeah, I definitely think a time skip's gonna happen. But can you imagine a 30-year-old Asta still as short as he is, with like a coat like, you know, the Wizard King cloak or cape or whatever. That's too big for him. Like flying in the wind. I don't know. It's just it's a funny thought. Like this refrigerator looking motherfucker looking, you know, looking down on the entire kingdom. It would be it's gonna be interesting when that happens. So yeah. Anyway. Anyway, coming back to what I was talking about here. Okay, wait, how do I fix this? Huh. I thought I fixed it. Okay, if it was for the other thing. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, like I was talking about, let's map out the entire timeline of the story, right from like, you know, and God said, let there be light until the latest moments. And I was not kidding about that. I've been doing that. It has been a pretty difficult task to get into right now on the outset. So, you know, like, let me just show you guys the progress that I've had on it. Leo says he needs Goku's growth spurt. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that would be pretty cool. Like, honestly, like, I know a lot of people love the fact that Asta is like short or whatnot. I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest with you. I feel like, I don't know, like it's a weird, it's a gag. I get that, but like, you know, it could have been a cute gag when he was 15, 16, whatever. But like, brother, you're 18 now. Really? He still has that gag going on? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. You know, it's just a pet peeve. I don't really care. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the concept. Not concept. No, the theme. The theme? No, whatever. Let's just get into what I've been wanting to do with the stream, right? Which is the timeline stuff. Yami says, nah, Asta's my short king. No, I get it. I understand. But I don't know. It just feels like the gag is a little old at this point to me. But yeah. All right. Anyway, let's get into the video. I'm hoping it's a thing similar to FMA with him being so short. Yeah. Hopefully, probably that's what it is. But honestly, I mean, hopefully that's what it is. But probably, I don't think it becomes a plot relevant thing. Remind me again why it was relevant in FMA. Was it just because like he did that when he was a kid and, you know, he was stuck? Like, I don't remember. It's been such a long time since I saw FMA. You know, it might be time for a rewatch actually, but I can't do that because I have other things to read. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. WK. That's gonna be my bribe to you to give me your ideas. So, no. Anyway, enough yapping about nothing. Let's get into the stream, shall we? Okay, so boom, let me go here. Okay, so I'm basically splitting up the timeline into 1, 2, 3, and 4 different eras. You know, obviously the 4th era is probably not going to be filled at all. So yeah, Ed's soul was bound to Alice. Oh, okay, right, yeah, okay, that would be interesting. Him being bound to Liba or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe him being short is, you know, like similar to why, like is connected to why he doesn't have magic. You know, like him being in what's her name? God, how can I forget? Lucida's womb and like the magic being taken out at the time. Also, you know, he is after all like a biological defect in essence, right? He had to fuel both bodies at once. Yeah, I was essentially leeching nutrients off of Ed to stay alive. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. So what I was saying was, you know, that's pretty much what happened though. Not happened exactly, but like leeching to stay alive is not what happened, but it was like sucking out Asta's nutrients or whatever. So, you know, as a kid, he has, you know, he's basically kind of deformed and not how he would have grown up if his mother wasn't cursed, you know, something like that. I don't think it's going to be a reversible thing because Tabata is framing, like, you know, shaping Asta to be like himself, and Tabata is, as we all know, a short king himself. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you guys can see the text on this. You should be able to. Let me see if I can increase the font. That should help, right? Yeah, that should be good enough. Okay, so sorry to derail. That's fine. WK, any kind of conversation is fun for me. And again, it's a reminder, make sure you like the stream. Definitely helps get the stream out to existing subscribers who might not know that the live stream is going on. So yeah, make sure you hit that like button and everything. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and stuff, because we do this kind of stuff here a lot. Anyway, coming to the topic of the video. Topic, that's the word I was looking for earlier. Okay, the first era, the creation and destruction. And believe it or not, we have a lot of information that's kind of implied throughout the story, right? You see this? About almost 5.5 pages of just topics before Lumiere. Like before Lumiere even existed, right? That's the kind of, that's the level of knowledge we kind of have from the pre-Lumiere world. So, I gotta say, like, as disappointed as I am in the world building of Black Clover, time and again, I gotta remind myself, like, there's a lot that's happened, right? And of course, it's like not all of it is like outright stated, it's just implied. But yeah, so in my timeline breakdown, I would first talk about the creation and destruction era. So obviously the first is going to be creation of the world, since Black Clover is pretty closely following the Christian or Judeo-Christian, like concept of, religion and like God and angels and all of that stuff. Obviously, God created the world. He said, "Let there be light." I know very little. Like, it's just like basic context from, various TV shows and things like that. Supernatural, basically. I don't know if you guys have seen that show, but yeah, like almost all my knowledge comes from that show. Crazy, it's a zany ass show, fun show though. But yeah, right. So obviously the world was created, and then Lucifero, I'm assuming, was expelled from heaven. Right, for sure, that's what happened. Especially because when you see how Lucifero is introduced, right, he looks so ethereal, if that's a word. He looks angelic, right? So with a character like that, looking like that, you would assume, like, I would say he was probably an angel initially, and then the horns and everything that he has later on is the effect of him being corrupted, right? Like how like an elf becomes a dark elf, like an angel is corrupted and becomes a devil, specifically of the highest variety, right? Especially if it's an archangel like Lucifero, right? So yeah, in this assumption, in this timeline assumption, like all the archangels, Michael and all that stuff, all of them exist, right? So yeah, anyway, going up, all the other kings of hell are birthed, like Astaroth, Beelzebub. So yeah, this is because from everything that I've seen, Astaroth and Beelzebub in demonology and everything are never considered to be fallen angels, right? Again, like, it's only from what I've seen. This is the part of the timeline which has a lot of the assumptions. Okay, you know what? Let's do something. Let me start highlighting everything in, I don't know, anything that I'm assuming. Not that. Where is it? Yeah, in orange. Okay, anything that we know existed or like happened, it's gonna be green. Anything that's like orange is like me just assuming, and anything that's a different color, which we'll figure out, is gonna be implied, strongly implied at the very least. Okay, so yeah, so expulsion from Lucifer from heaven, birth of Astaroth and Beelzebub in various levels of the underworld. Sure. Like, this is not assumption though. Where is it? Yeah, these are like obvious. They have to have been born. Like, this makes sense, right? All of this, I would say, it's not directly stated, but it's, pretty obvious, right? So we'll give blue for that. It's a weird blue. I'm going to change that. What do you even call that blue? I'm sure it's got a name. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so I'm going to make everything that's not outwardly stated, but, like, logically has to have happened. I'll make that blue, right? Okay. So let's keep going here. The next one, in the overworld, Judaism as a religion takes shape. And yeah, so I've given the reasoning over here. This, I'm pretty, like, I would say this is a green, right? This is in the manga. Though they don't call it that, though. To be fair, they don't even call Christianity, right? It's just a cross there. And a church, and a pastor, and a father, and a sister, the nuns, and everything. And then the cross is, okay, yeah. It's a little more difficult to just outright say Judaism exists, but I'm gonna it's hey man, it's my theory, it's my video. I'm gonna do this, all right? And if at any point you guys have anything to say, make sure you chip in. If you disagree, agree, whatever. But yeah, but what I'm talking about is his fight against Nama and Lilith, and like he takes them down, like through his magic, like the shadow magic, and they go to a different room, and it's like filled. It's like I see like, like seating arrangement similar to like a temple or like a church situation. I've never been to synagogues, right? That's what they're called, and for Judaism, yeah, for the Jewish religion, yeah. So I've never been to, or even seen, I think. Huh, interesting. Yeah, so that and churches, they kind of look similar and everything, right? So yeah, they look similar, and then there's like a candle, and I know that candles are important. Like, not like a typical candle, like a very specific candle that I've seen in that kind of media. So I am assuming that Judaism exists because, well, if it does, like, it has to for Christianity to exist anyway. So yeah, it makes sense. And as the religion takes shape, discovery or creation of the grimoires, likely by the ancient civilization made up of all races. I have a valid reasoning for this. Okay, but let me just mark this in green. Oh my god, of course this is going to happen. What the hell, bro? Okay. No, what the hell? Okay, there you go. Ancient civilization made up of all races. And this one is going to be a blue. Or no, I'm going to make... No, yeah, it's going to be blue. I'll tell you the reason why, okay? So the reason why I feel like the ancient civilization made up of, various races existed is purely because of the dungeons. And, like, nobody talks about this because it's been so long since we've had a dungeon in the story. But, there's like the way that it's described even in that chapter by... Magna, I think, is the one who talks about it, right? It's literally said that it really. Let me see here. Dungeons are like ancient tombs. They hold relics left behind by people from way back. Sometimes they've got methods for using powerful ancient magic and super valuable magical items. They're awesome. The people back then set crazy magic traps so nobody could use that stuff for evil. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Okay. So, ancient tombs, relics left behind by people from way back, and we know we did not see Lumiere making or leaving dungeons, and he just didn't just create stuff. He was trying to untangle stuff, right? He was trying to create magic items, but he was never trying to create this place for people later. So I don't think that's a thing that Lumiere and his time would have done, because at that point, magic was evolving at that point, right? So it makes sense that this would be in a different time. This would be from an ancient kingdom. Okay, so moving on from that, since we've made that assumption, the land of the sun starts worshiping the Buddha and the other Shinto gods. This makes sense because we do have what's his name, one of the Ryuzen 7, right? Like the big guy, he turns into a literal Buddha. So it's obvious that the Buddha is a clear, definite thing that they worship, especially because he's a priest. And that obviously implies that Shinto gods are probably something that exists because of the Tengetsu stuff that we also see, that Ryuya gets. So it kind of makes sense that these guys would be worshiping these guys at least as early as this. And I wanted to include all this because, guys, you have no idea just how much lore Hino alone has. It's genuinely insane. And even Tabata even kind of made the Spade Kingdom pretty it gave us an equivalent to the Elfark's background, like the royalty and stuff. And I'm getting it ahead of myself, but yeah. Anyway, let's keep going here. The land of the sun starts worshipping the Buddha and the other Shinto gods. Yes, this is I would say blue. All right, I would say blue for that one. Because, no, actually, I wouldn't say that. I would call this a green. Yeah, I would consider this to be green. Is this a lighter green? Oh my god, I can't do this. It's just okay. I don't care how light or dark the color is, guys. It's just the color. Okay, anyway. The land of the sun, aka Hino country, discovers Yoryoku, aka magic, and instead of grimoires, they discover scrolls. Right, this makes sense, and kind of fits in with the timeline of all of this taking place as well. Right, so yeah, we'll make that a green. This has to have happened, just like the grimoires and stuff. Okay. Did I talk about the grimoires already yet or not? Yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah, discovery of grimoires. Yeah, and at the same time you get Yoryoku and like the scrolls, all of that stuff, right? So yeah, that makes sense timeline wise. Right. So the creation of the grimoire splits people into different factions. Clover, Heart, Spade, and Diamond. Changes denoted by geography, but still one kingdom. Again, all of this is speculation, so I will be putting that into the orange category. Now, creation of grimoire splits people into different factions. I do think that this makes sense. I'll tell you why. Because if the WK says this is all bringing up interesting thoughts, because I feel like in many series a lot of it is very hand wavy, because if Judaism, Christianity exists, Jesus would have to too. I don't think he wants to go into that. Yeah, but guess what, WK, the cross exists, right? Like the Clover Kingdom. I don't think he wants to get into that, to be honest. So it makes you wonder how much of the true past IRL exists in the world. Yeah, I understand. I definitely know what you're saying. But if the cross exists, Jesus did, and if Jesus existed, Judaism did as well. So I don't know, man. I feel like it is, and especially with how hard he's going into the Christianity themes of things, it just feels like that definitely is in there as well. But I don't see but I don't know how relevant Jesus would be to the story, or like even the lore of things, except for saying that, hey, like, churches exist now. Um, so, and yeah, of course, like, you don't want to get into any religious stuff too deep. So, there you go. Um, I think it makes sense for Tabata to not want to specifically specify what that is. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Why do I say this? It feels like the grimoires have always had the heart, spade, clover, diamond, in them, because except for Nacht and Morgan, I think we don't ever see a non-symbol thing, and the even the oldest of the oldest parts of the story or history that we've gotten have always had somebody with a grimoire of Cloverheart or Spade and Diamond, whatever it is, right? And yeah, so I think it's I do believe that they've always had this, and once you get that, it's obviously natural that people are gonna, like, tribalism is going to take over, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, you're a clover, I'm a clover too, which we already see happening later on, so I think it's a pretty foregone conclusion that would happen, right? And yeah, I don't think the entire kingdom would split up, but I do think that the factions would start to create make sense, especially because, like, as we know, the symbols are provided based on the geography of it all, of the kingdom. So yeah, I do think that it would already have been split up into different factions, right? Okay, so now next thing here, Land of the Sun splits into various provinces or kingdoms, two of which are named Goshu and Koshu. Again, like, we get something very similar to Cloverheart, Spade, and Diamond for Land of the Sun. Like, Tabata, it doesn't feel like it, but he gave us so much lore for Land of the Sun here. And Goshu is where, Ryuya's family eventually rules over, and Koshu is where, what's his name? Mushoge Take, his family rules over, right? So yeah, like, I'm sure that the split would have already happened, or even if it was not named the exact same, since we're assuming that, Cloverheart, Spade, and Diamond is what the names are going to be for there, I'm sure that it's fine there. Okay, so yeah, again, it's still orange because a lot of assumptions, but it feels pretty obvious. But, I do repeat these, and, it becomes more concrete later on, and I would give those the green tag, right? Okay, so the next one. The Clover humans worship elves as gods due to their immense magical power. This is canon. This is pure canon. This is literally stated by one of the elves. I think it was either Licht or Patri. I don't know who. I don't know why Licht would say that, so I think... No, Licht might say that. Yeah, Licht might have said that. But anyway, yeah, we do get this very clearly stated in the manga. So this gets a green approval. Right, so no arguments there. The ancient kingdom / civilization create magical spaces and items, and dwarves create magical stones, arrow of magical prosperity. I definitely think that this is something that is canon, and I don't know if dwarves specifically create magic stones, but it makes a hell of a lot of sense if they did. But magic spaces and items, this is what I'm talking about with the dungeons, right? So this, boom, I would absolutely put in the green category. Okay. dwarves create magical stones? It's an assumption, but it's a pretty good one. Era of magical prosperity. Yeah, again, like an assumption, right? So I think this makes a hell of a lot of sense. You know, they created dungeons and like items and all of that. Maybe not dungeons exactly. It's just like places overflowing with magic. You know, like they created stuff like that, because I do talk about the creation of dungeons a little bit down the line in the timeline, because it would make sense for them to do that at that point. Okay, cool. So now in a era of magical prosperity, what do you get? You know, experimentation, because that's what happens now. You know, like scientists start experimenting with stuff. And WK, I'm looking literally directly into your eye when I'm doing this topic, by the way. Yeah, so magical supremacy leads to experimentation on forbidden magic and the sealing of dungeons, right? So it makes sense. Okay, actually it doesn't make sense. Let me just remove I don't know why I did this. This comes up later. So yeah. All right. So yeah, it makes sense that they would slowly start messing with forbidden magic. Darius, hey man, I'm 50-50 on the dwarves creating magical stones. Well, okay, I understand. Like, if not them though, then who else? You know, like who else do you think would be the ones to be creating this? So yeah. I don't know if anybody else would have the capacity, or like culturally, I don't think any other race makes sense to have done that. But anyway, yeah, magical supremacy leads to experimentation on forbidden magic. We'll put that in orange, but come on, it's just what you know, people with sentience do. Devils are contacted and worshipped. Absolutely, I definitely think this is a possibility, specifically because of the previous Tree of Qliphoth incident. Yeah, right. Cool. I'm gonna make this a green because we absolutely know that this is exactly what happened from Lolopechka's visions, right? So I'm definitely gonna give this a green canon approval. And again, guys, if you think of anything that you think I should be adding here or removing from here, do let me know in the chat, and we'll try to figure out why you feel that way and why I feel this way, and see if I can include that or change that from this. Okay, so let's get back into this. Devils are contacted and worshipped. I mean, it has to have happened, right? But again, I know. I'm assuming, so I'm gonna give it the orange, right? Wait, what is the other color? Okay, so yeah, the blue. Oh, okay, wait. Okay, the blue. Okay, I got things confused. Okay, I'm gonna make this blue. Okay, let me see here. This is orange, yeah. Magical prosperity. Okay, orange makes sense. And this probably is a blue. This is a blue. We don't know it. We know it happened. We don't know any details on that. Creation of blah 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 blah. Yeah. Cool. This would also be blue. This, you know, would be orange. That's fine. Cool. Wait. Okay, this should be orange, right? Yeah, that should be orange. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to the latest one. All right. So the devils led by Lucifero pour in, destroying the world. Yep, this is canon. Again, as we've seen inside Lolopechka's backstory, and we also saw Dante, in Dante's research that Noct ultimately gets to know about all the levels of the underworld, and he gets to know all about Lucifer. If Lucifer comes out, the world is dead. So yeah, I'm sure that Lucifer did come in. And yeah, Lucifer and the devils have a first contact with grimoires, because as we know, devils do not get a grimoire for themselves because they're in the underworld. And Lucifero obviously knew about grimoires because he was like, "Duh, blasted thing," when he was fighting our heroes. So yeah, this is definitely, I mean, I don't know if this exactly is what happened, so we'll put an orange over there. But yeah, this definitely did happen in some way or the other. One of the 4-leaf clover grimoires of an elf is turned into a 5-leaf clover grimoire, and a devil uses it. This marks the birth of the first dark elf and the first devil to use a grimoire. This I absolutely think happened, but still I will put it in orange. I'll tell you why. Okay. So we know that Zagrid knew what a dark elf was, and he knew how to create one. And he knew that, you needed a 4-leaf clover grimoire to birth a 5-leaf, all of that stuff. So he knew all of that. And how would he have known all of that before the elf arc, like before the elf flashback that we saw, like where he stole it from Licht? it would obviously be because he saw that happening before. And where would he have seen that happening? During the previous Glyphoth incident, which we know is absolutely canon. So put two and two together, you get four. He definitely, this definitely happened in the past. And the reason why I'm saying that it was an elf's four leaf that turned into a five leaf is because that's who Zagrid targeted, and of course the dark elf thing that I just explained to you guys. So definitely that's what I think happened over there. I'm sure like a human's four-leaf clover grimoire could have also been taken over. You never know, but I'm pretty confident that this is the only thing that happened, and I would like to see where that first five-leaf clover grimoire that was ever created is. I wonder if that was Astaroth, because that would be pretty interesting, and it would make the coverless grimoire of Julius very interesting for sure. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. But anyway, let's keep going. As I see you guys type, I will I'll check what exactly you guys are saying. Okay, so let's keep going here. So this is really cool. Leviathan, Dryad, and the four primary spirits, Undine, Sylph, Salamander, and Gnome, which, obviously this is not confirmed, but it's pretty obvious. These do exist. So I'll put them in green, are involved in the battle against the devils. They kind of have to be, right? Because, if not that, what would they be doing? I mean, unless they're like Leo and then they just don't do anything. Or if not that, they could be like Noel during the Lucifero fight, just like, hey man, I'm done with my work. I'm just in the background, right? So unless they did that, they were definitely involved. But again, I will put this in orange because we're not sure about this. And of course, the gnome stuff, we don't even have a name for the earth spirit. WK says it's been a long time since delving into this in detail. Do we have any legitimate leads to who or what made the grimoires? Just had a tangential thought is why I ask. No, please, more thoughts like this is pretty much what this stream is for. Because if I get through this entire paragraph, I'll have to start writing the rest. Not paragraph. If I get through whatever I've written, which is a lot actually, 13 pages. I mean, I know the font is bigger, but yeah, damn. So I don't want to do that yet, because then that'll mean I'll have to start typing, and I just finished typing all this. So yeah. Do we know? No, we do not. We do not have a tangential, like a legitimate, tangible lead on anything. We don't know anything. The only new, only new thing that has happened with regards to grimoires, I can tell you, right? So Noct not having a symbol, but then Tabata confirmed that he has a 3-leaf clover symbol, but then we don't see it. So the assumption is that his shadow magic and the cover of his grimoire is just dark enough that it's not visible. And the same for Morgan, because he has light magic, and the light is so bright and white that his symbol is not seen, which is odd because you had Patri with light magic and you can clearly see his 3 clovers symbol. And same thing with what's his name, I forget the king's name, Augustus, right? Augustus the 13th Kira Clover, right? So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but Tabata's not said anything on that except for the fact that Noct is a 3-leaf clover user, and I'm assuming that's the case with Morgan as well. So that's one thing. The next thing is Lucifero getting annoyed by Zora's grimoire, or just like, grimoire, the blasted thing, that's like to that effect, right? Something to that effect. So Lucifero is aware of grimoires, but is annoyed by them and is not looking to get one. So that's another thing that we know about grimoires. And then the other thing that we know about grimoires is that Lucius can switch between either grimoires, but he, from what we've seen, he has to use his Spade grimoire if he's going to use his soul magic, or at least if he uses the paladin spell, right? But he does not have to do that when he's using a time magic. He can just whip out a time magic, ball or whatever, without having to switch back to that. But, sometimes he does. So that's one more thing. And for he can use both. And we know that every soul is supposed to get a grimoire. Excuse me. Because we know that even though Elf got one, Spade gets one too. And if the souls are in perfect synchronization, where you're pretty much the exact same soul, but two, whatever the whatever the fuck is up with Also, foreshadowing, guys, I am working on a crazy video that should be coming out pretty soon. Sometime in the next week. I'm not, it's already ready, uploaded and everything, but I'm, holding off on releasing it because I don't want to I don't want to release a video right after the previous one, which is tanking, which is weird. I put a lot of effort into that script. It's about Asta and Yuno's rivalry and how that's written. It's like writing analysis in comparison to the other shonen dynamics. So definitely, I thought that would be a great video, but greatly received video. But yeah, whatever. I guess the lack of editing kind of makes it difficult to watch. So yeah. Anyway, I made it. The next video is gonna be fucking great with regards to the editing, at least on, if you have seen my videos, which have next to no editing, it's gonna be great, right? So yeah, so that's pretty much all we know, WK, about the grimoires. I'm just wondering if elves gifted the grimoires to humans in the past catastrophe, and the devils can poach it by making them suffer. It's clear to me that grims were made and stick around or are recycled, but yeah, Lucifero being mad at the grimoire could lend to that idea. Interesting. No, but then he would have to be, no, the way I read it though, WK, is that he's mad at grimoires for allowing paltry humans and whatnot to come up with humans and even elves, right? Because like the devils are clearly so much more powerful than the elves, because even a like a no-name high-ranking devil like Zagrid could destroy all of them so easily. And yeah, anyway, without a body, just being a soul, just by trickery. But yeah, I feel like Lucifero, who's like raw, unbridled magical power, is annoyed that something with such little magical power could use its smarts to overcome, the natural obstacle of having, raw power. So I think that's what it is, rather than elves gifting it to grimoires. Because if that were the case, I feel like that is something we definitely would have seen explored by Tabata in the elf flashback. Because why not? Like, if not, then he would never have been able to do it. And so you're saying the previous Cliffhoth incident, this happened, unlike the first Heart Queen at least definitely had memories of the previous Cliffhoth incident, though, right? So if that's the case, then it means that a human was bound to Undine. And if that's the case, like, why would Undine be bound to a grimoire less human who, so it raises a lot of questions rather than make things click into place. So I don't think that's what happened. It would be an interesting idea, though. You could still make it work by answering all these questions that rise up. But yeah, it would still be interesting. But yeah, the whole idea that grimoires are made to stick around or are recycled. Are they recycled? That's an interesting question, because they do disappear, but then how are they always ever present? So are we thinking about rebirth? The souls being reborn? Because if they don't get reborn, then why would grimoires be recycled? Because grimoires are literally tied to their souls. So yeah, I don't think that's the case. So when you turn 15, a grimoire binds to your soul and becomes your soul, becomes part of your soul. So that's what I think happens. So yeah, anyway, let me see here. Yeah, I really do feel like the origin of grimoires and the origin of devil will let us clear up the majority of the picture, both past and present. Oh yeah, you have no idea. Like, the origin of devils, at least, even if Tabata gives us the whole, oh yeah, God pushed him out of hell, and angels are not involved in themselves because God is don't, and then God has just been kind of missing, just chilling, doing whatever. That explanation, I would be okay with that. But I want an explanation. That's it, So that's the thing. All right, so let's keep going here. So these spirits, they're involved, right? So the battles during the first Cliffhoth incident likely led to the creation of the strong magic regions. This is, I know it's orange, but I wanna, and yeah, I'll put that in blue actually. Yeah. Anyway, it this is like, I really, really, really want to put this in green. Like, you guys have no idea how badly I want to put this in green and like tell you that it's canon. But yeah, it's probably never gonna get explained. But dude, I definitely feel like this is exactly what happened, because if not, then why the hell would strong magic regions exist? Like, how the hell would they exist? Just naturally occurring mono calamities? Like, okay, but if there was a Cliffoth incident with like power levels of the level that we see right now, that we're just like going haywire with every single super uber powerful character just like in existence at the time just being there, I mean, come on. Like, something crazy would have happened and led to the creation of the strong magic regions, right? So yeah, definitely I do think that it is a possibility. And then we get a great five-headed demonic dragon, which attacks the land of the sun, which is likely a creature from the underworld, escaped to the mortal realm due to the Qliphotht opening. So this is obviously canon. We know this. Wow, that's a light green. Let me make it a little bit darker. Yeah, likely a creature from the underworld. Yeah, I know this is an assumption, but I think it's a pretty good assumption, because the way this is presented, it is presented like it's like super uber, ancient past, right? So I do think that this is something that definitely happened. Let me see here. Get a bounce and take care of these kids. Just hit me up if you need whatever, man. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming through, WK. Always appreciate you, man. Go take care of them kids. All right, so the next thing, a heavenly maiden stopped the rampage of a fire. See, yeah, all of this stuff is pretty much everything from that we get from the Hino arc. So this is pure canon material, right? I don't even need to explain. This is just the background of whatever happened there, the five-headed demonic dragon thing. And yeah, it feels like how would the land of the sun not be affected by whatever is happening in the with the Qliphotht, if everything opened up, like it just makes sense that something would affect it, and like the creature would travel there. So yeah, I do think that the five-headed dragon is an underworld creature. Okay, so somehow, we don't know how, but somehow all the devils are sealed back into the underworld, likely through the combined effort of all the races and in large part by a star magic user. For this, I'm not going to explain too much because I already have a video called History Will Repeat Itself on my channel, where I talk about how the entire first saga of Black Clover, or rather like the first major climactic arc of Black Clover, which is the battle against Zagrid, is like how do I put it, like it's like foreshadowing what happened in the past. It's like a repetition of what happened in the past, where all the Qliphotht was opened up and everything came loose, and like similar to Zagrid, how you had even though it was a half dwarf, you still had a dwarf. You had elves, you had humans, you had spirits, everybody involved taking out demons and everything, right? So that's what happened when Zagrid attacked. So you combined that with what happened in the past, and I think that it is very likely that that's what happened. So again, once again, go watch that video. It's one of my early videos, but it's a great video. So yeah, this is obviously they got sealed back. All right, yeah, and then this part, in large part by a star magic user. This is I would say stay tuned for next week's video. If you're watching this and if you've ever enjoyed a video of mine, I would say stay tuned for the next video that I put out on my channel. Okay, so yeah, it's probably going to be coming out next week again. So yeah, again, quick reminder, go onto Twitter, retweet, to make sure if you can get other people in, because like I said before, it is an interesting case study, and I want as many voices on this as possible to talk about what could be happening. So yeah, let's get back to it. So during the destruction of the world during this Qliphothic era, which I do believe that it was more than just like however long Spade was, right? It was literally like an evening for the Spade Kingdom. So for the Spade Kingdom arc. So unlike that, I do believe that this was a long time coming, where the devils were like running amok all over the earth, and it would have been a crazy era. And I've thought about this. What if there's like an entire country, like what if the rest of the continent that we've not seen has some kind of devil or something, beyond the Spade Kingdom, right? Which is always shrouded in the winter, and it's like in winter, everlasting winter, like fog and everything like that. What if you go north, even more north, or was it west? Yeah, whatever. You go even more west, into the rest of the continent, and then it's just like wastelands, like pure strong magic region wastelands, because the devils have just been kicking it there on the overworld. Not like any high ranking devils or anything. It's just the devils that got away during the like the sealing of all the devils, right? So yeah, that would be really interesting, considering how like it continues to be a problem, right? The devil stuff continues to be a problem throughout the world. But anyway, right, so during this era, mistrust seeps in, obviously, right? Because like everything is destroyed, races split apart, most people are dead, they're all living separately. Again, I know this is an orange thing, but I'm pretty confident in that. Ancient kingdom or civilization is split into various kingdoms, Diamond, Spade, and Clover. And let me see here. Do I still talk about... I do still talk. Okay. Yeah, I do still talk about that. Cool. We'll get to that in a bit. All right. Yami says, I had a crazy era with your... Okay, man. Okay, man. All right. Thanks, Yami. I appreciate that. That's great. Motherfucker. All right. Oh, literally, right? Yeah, there you go. Okay. So, yeah, it's split into various kingdoms based on factions. Yep. Again, an orange, but makes sense. Jesus, or the Son of God, or Prophet, whatever you want to call him, is born in the Spade region, travels to the Clover region. The reason why I say this is because in the Spade region, like I said before, you do see Judaism being practiced, whereas Clover Kingdom seems to be the only kingdom with Christianity, embedded in there, right? So I think that this is pretty obvious that this is what probably happened. But anyway, Christianity is established in the Clover Kingdom. Cross is established. Yes, this is obviously a green, because we know that this is the case currently. Okay. But yeah, anyway, like we're halfway through. Okay, maybe not halfway. We're like 70% through the pre-Lumiere history. Like the fact that we have so much stuff to have already spoken about. How long has it been since I started this stream? Let me check. It's been an hour? Good God, man. Yeah, it's literally been an hour. What the fuck? Yeah, so we've been talking about this for at least like 50 minutes, right? If not the entire hour. And how many words is this? It's like 500 words, which is not a lot. Okay. But yeah, like 500 words based on extremely vague implications in the story. But like think about like how much lore we already have in all of this. Like Tabata could take a single chapter to comment and like confirm every single thing that's been happening that I've spoken about here, and we'd have one of the richest, like one of the most detailed histories to like a shonen manga like world ever, right? Like crazy. And I'm somebody who thinks that it's like Black Clover's world building needs a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, Broku, yo, what's up, Broku? Welcome to the stream. What's the color scheme? Yeah, okay, so I guess I should explain this again. Right, so you have creation of the world, expulsion of Lucifer from heaven. Right, so these, like everything that's in orange is something that is like not even implied, but it's just like heavy assumptions, right? Okay, so the blue is everything that's been heavily implied, or like you would expect to happen, but it's never been stated in the manga, right? So for example, you got the creation of the world, expulsion of Lucifer from heaven. It's never been established, but obviously Astaroth would have to have been born, or Beelzebub, and like the underworld would have had to been established. So yeah, that's blue, because it's just obviously it had to have happened, right? And then ancient civilization made up of all races. That's a complete assumption on my part, so I'm putting that in orange. Creation of grimoire splits the faction. That's a blue, because obviously it had to have created, and obviously people are split up based on this, because that's obvious. And then one kingdom, again, that's my assumption. So yeah, orange is assumption, green is a manga canon, blue is something that is not stated but is obviously implied. Okay. Let me see here. Yeah, so all of these things are assumptions, but honestly, like again, like I would love to put it in blue, but it is assumptions at the end of the day. Split into blah 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 blah. Jesus, son of God, travels to Clover region. Yeah, so all of this is never stated, or probably is never ever going to be stated. But it feels like it is an implied thing. Okay. And again, guys, I would suggest, or I would request you to like the stream so that more people can get their eyes on this and leave their thoughts below in the chat, because this is definitely a project that needs a lot more input from a lot of the fans, right? Like, what am I missing and what could have happened? And are my assumptions right, or like how horribly wrong are they? So these are questions that we need to keep asking as I'm working through this project, which will obviously be something that comes out once the series ends. But anyway, going forward here, yeah, Christianity is established in the Clover region. The cross is established, right? Again, remember, this is not the Clover kingdom just yet. Okay, so wait, no, it is the Clover kingdom. Okay, wait, various kingdoms. Okay, so this should be kingdom here then. My bad. Okay, so yeah, there you go. So it is changed. Okay, fuck, I can't. There you go. Okay. Let me know if my audio cut out. No, it didn't cut out. Okay, good. Okay, so keep going. First queen grew to be a woman during the struggles against the devils, befriends Undine. So this definitely, I don't know if it's the first queen. Like, that is an assumption, right? Like, if the first queen was the one who saw all this, because if the first queen was much older than even the Cliff incident, and it's like one of the various other queens, then, or like Undine users, then the splitting up and like establishment of kingdoms probably took place a long time before all of this. But I feel like all of this, I'm good to put this in green, right? Like, because obviously the one of the hard, the Undine users, and it has to be the first one of the hard queens, I feel, definitely saw the Clefothic incidents, because we get the flashbacks for Lila Pechka, right? And then yeah, she finds Undine, forms a contract, blah blah blah. So all of this, it makes sense. So I'm gonna put, okay, wait, let me see here. Befriends Undine. Yeah, all of this is green. Yikes. Yeah, and all of this, I think blue makes sense. I do think the blue makes sense. I don't think it needs to be orange. I wish we got more info on the humans who made the pact with elves for Shadow Palace to be placed in the Clover Kingdom castle. Oh shit. Oh, thank you. I completely forgot about that. I completely forgot about the Shadow Palace. Okay, I need to make a note for myself here. Where do I do that? Blah, blah, blah. Somehow, yeah, this is the part I need to do that. Great point, Broku. Thank you. Talk about the Shadow Palace. Right. Great stuff. Great point. Thank you. I appreciate that. I will definitely be adding that somewhere over here, right? Like, it definitely happened in the in this kind of past. And yeah, since Broku's here, let me just remind you guys that first up, I've split the Black Clover entire story into 5 different eras. The first era is the creation and destruction era, which is still what we're under, right? Let's keep going to the second era. Where is this? Yeah, the second era, which is the Age of Legends. It's a little bit of a Wheel of Time reference, but yeah, like, I definitely think Age of Legends is an appropriate title, because this is where you get Lumiere and the other Wizard Kings, and like a bunch of things that we'll eventually get to. And then let me see here. Yeah, and the third era will be Black Clover, which is not going to be like post Asta's birth. It's going to be right after Edward, right after Edward the 20th Wizard King, right? Everything we know after this is going to be the Black Clover era, because I do think that it's important stuff that happens at this time. And then after the Black Clover era, it's going to be, what do you call it? Oh, wait, no, the third era, Black Clover. Okay, so there's going to be a different era in between here. The third era is going to be like the entire story of Black Clover. That's what I was thinking. What the fuck? Okay, there you go. The third era, I don't know, what do we call this? The decline of the Clover? Yeah, something like that. I don't know. The fourth era is Black Clover, and the fifth era is Bust story. I don't know. Basta. Asta next gen, right? Something like that. So yeah, it's basically the epilogue of the story is what the fifth era would be. But anyway, if we start talking about more recent history, I feel like Aesir Noel's mom is an incredibly important figure that I want more info about. Absolutely. And on the, oh, that's a great man, Yami Skehiro, man. Like you have no idea what's coming for you from this channel. Like make sure you subscribe because I have a fantastic Aesir video that's going to be coming out. Um, it's not a theory video. It's not. It's has to be like an analysis kind of a thing. But Broco knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, there's like so much that's coming. If you want to know more about Aesir, I dive deep into a lot of things. I don't know when it'll come out, when it'll be a good time to release that. But yeah, we'll talk about it. Are you making like a massive lore video for Black Clover? No, no. I'm thinking like once the series ends, like I want to have the video ready right around that time. I want to make a full timeline video, like because okay, let me go back up here, right? So I'm talking about it from the creation of the world, birth of Astaroth, creation of the underworld, Judaism as a religion takes shape, ancient civilization, land of the sun starts worshiping gods, Yoryoku, creation of grimoires, like the splitting of the land into Clover Heart Spade, splitting into Goshu Koshu. It's like a full timeline video, is what I'm thinking. Like, I want to do like really interesting effects and everything because, once the series ends, I feel like we should have a really like I was just thinking about it, Broku. Like, it's so rich, man. The detail and the lore of Black Clover, like just based on these assumptions, right? Like think about this. I'm talking about so much stuff here, purely based on like one or two sentences that Tabata throws in, but like there's nothing that contradicts any of this. So it makes sense that it would be part of the lore, and their lore is so goddamn interesting. There's just so much that happened in the past of Black Clover that Tabata kind of just hints at and everything, and then like I said, there's just a lot of crazy stuff that happens. So yeah, I just thought I wanted to make a proper timeline video because I saw somebody, the only thing that we have for Black Clover is like the life of Asta and the life of Asta updated. But bro, who's talking about the Buddha and the other Shinto gods that that are in the land of the sun? So yeah, that's what this is. Yami says, oh, trust me, I've been subbed ever since your Noah video. Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed all the other videos that I made too. That's cool. Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, so it's a big project though, because like I said, like look at the number of assumptions, and I even forgot about the whole Shadow Palace pact between the elves and the humans that clearly took place before the Age of Legends, which is what I'm dubbing that. Like I am coining that, by the way. So yeah, like thank you for that. Hopefully we can get on a call or something later. We can get in touch later to discuss more of this. I'll talk to other people too. But yeah, I just thought I should go live and let this remain on the channel for people to come in and give their opinions later, before I make that video. Like I want to make it like super high production quality and everything. So yeah, let's see how it goes. All right, so Leviathan, the Lord of the Sea, begins its long slumber only to be woken again. Yep, this is literally lifted from the pages of the story, so that's a canon green. Okay, again, guys, I don't care about the shade of green, but it's kind of driving me crazy. But at the same time, I don't care, but I do. I don't know. Anyway, so Leviathan, that's a checkpoint. Underwater temple is established in reverence to the Lord of the Sea, which is Leviathan. Yep, check. That definitely is canon. All right, all remnants of the ancient civilization are sealed to become dungeons. I do think that this is what happened. Slowly. Even it might not have even been like something that was actively done. It's just something that happens. Like like really dense magic in this place, and boom, it's like it's never touched and everything, and it's getting destroyed and everything, and being naturally sealed makes a whole lot of sense. And like I'm gonna give this a green, right? I'm gonna give this a canon green. So based on Magna's dialogue in that chapter. Yami says, I've always been really bad about forgetting details, so videos like this definitely interest me. Yeah, for sure, man. And it's not just that. You could just show this to somebody, and by the time they even get to the Age of Legends, they'll be hooked. Because like, what the hell? This lore is crazy, right? Like I am like just getting super invested just like typing this out. So yeah. Yeah, there's so much stuff, interesting stuff that can go overlooked. It's interesting that the Shadow Palace has powerful magic items from the time of antiquity. That Geldra seems valuable. This could imply that the civilizations before were more advanced than they are now. Maybe the last Qliphoth was sort of a great reset. Yeah, yeah, literally. Like I had that over here because where is this? Where is this? Um, yeah, there's an era of magical prosperity and magical supremacy. Okay, let me read this again. Right, the ancient kingdom slash civilization creates magical spaces and items, and dwarves create magical stones. Era of magical. There's an complete era. There is an era of magical prosperity, and the magical supremacy leads to experimentation on forbidden magic. Right, so which is why the devils were contacted, and the devils manipulated them into opening the Qliphoth, and then there's a whole battle destroying the world because of Lucifero. So exactly what you just said is what I have over here, Broku. So yeah, we're definitely on the same wavelength on that. And one more thing, like I feel like the battles during Qliphoth are the reason why the strong magic region exists, right? Like the insane, effects on the environment is what that is. LA Capiel, welcome to the chat. I literally just told Broku, but I'll go really quick over here. Green is everything that's canon, manga canon. Orange is everything that, like I'm assuming, without a lot of evidence. And then blue is like pretty much implied by the manga, but it's never directly stated. So that's what it is. I'm hoping that Tabata uses the ancient magic dungeons to link into dwarves. Yeah, I hope so too. I think that during the Qliphoth incident, the devils wisened up to how like the dwarves were creating magical items and kind of killed them off to a large extent. Because like, bro, like yeah, we've seen a couple of elves here and there, but we don't know anything at all about the dwarves. We don't see the dwarves at all, right? So yeah. I think that the dwarves are gone, except for like a couple that might exist, like even lower in number than Elysia. If I remember correctly, the dungeons just pop out of the ground. Yeah, it's like, so the way I would think about it, in my head is that like the natural mana of these dungeons that were obviously like super, super high, kind of just, like the natural seals on them is eventually start being broken and then poof, because magical activity is taking place again, especially in these strong magic regions, right? And people go exploring. That's what kind of happens that we saw in that particular chapter, right? So I do think that, with magic coming back to the world in great force and like evolving in a lot of interesting ways. I need to talk about Arcane Stage. And things like that where magic has evolved. Okay, that has to have happened sometime in the timeline, right after the Qliphoth incident for sure. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's how I would, think about that. Yami. The Silvermillion household takes its place on the throne. There we go. Okay, on the throne as the royal house of the Clover Kingdom. Yeah, this is obviously canon. So yeah. Cool. So that was the first era, guys. I don't know how long has it been now. It's been, the stream's gone on for over an hour, like over an entire hour. So yeah, we're only now done with the first era of Black Clover, the creation and destruction, with the limited knowledge that we have. So like I said, the lore is fucking crazy, and I'm in love with the story. So right now we got time for a bunch of questions. And as you guys are asking your questions, I gotta go take a look at something else here. So yeah, keep going with your questions or like comments and thoughts and whatnot before I continue on with the second era, the Age of Legends. All right. Wait, can you not see this? Oh, okay. So you have been able to see everything, just not right now. So let me fix that real quick. There you go. Cool. So we'll get started with the second era pretty soon. God, man, talking so much is crazy. I went for over an hour with your mama. Yeah, that's great. Thanks, man. what is with you? The yo mama jokes, man. No, but it's all good. Have any of you guys been reading Kagurabachi, man? Like, I would love to kind of start making Kagurabachi content, but I feel like Black Clover in itself barely gets me views if it's beyond like if I don't do like insane clickbait at the initial starting of it, and like it needs to be like contemporary kind of topics. So, thinking about even getting into a different manga, it just doesn't make sense for me. But, I would love to make Kagurabachi content. The latest chapter, man, everything, it's been great. The final message, welcome, welcome. I really want to watch, but at work, we'll be watching definitely later. Oh, no problem, man. But it's Sunday, though. Why are you working on a Sunday, buddy? Uh, Hopefully it's like you get like other days off, but it sucks that you got to work on Sundays, man. But yeah, I was just saying, man, like it takes everything out of my throat and my voice and everything. Oh, ooh, we're gonna be getting a guest. So once Emo comes back, we'll be doing a quick recap of everything before we get into the second era. So if you guys have any thoughts and or questions, now would be the ideal time to get that in. If not, just go back, rewind for a little bit, and watch the rest of the stream. And make sure you like the stream so that it can get out to more people. As I've been saying, more eyes on this stream is always going to be great. Because if you've not been here, I want to make a full, Black Clover World timeline video. And I kind of, need as many people watching this, giving criticism and giving comments before I finalize and perfect that and make the video and like release it around the time the manga and the story ends, right? Like I'm thinking this would be like a perfect video to release right when the anime comes back, right? But then it would have too many spoilers for anime onlys too. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, make sure you like and everything like that. Okay, I gotta get on Discord to let this person in. Okay, let me see here. Opening up Discord. With how little traffic there is around BC at the moment, it could make sense to expand to Kagura or some other similar manga. I don't know how YouTube algorithm would teach. I don't think it's as low as you think, Yami, because it just needs to be the right kind of content, and unfortunately that's not the kind of content that I like to do all the time. If I was talking about the anime nonstop, if I was making Asta dad videos, who's Asta dad, Lucius cute, like Lucius tells us who Asta's dad, like those kind of videos are definitely the ones that will they'll still do numbers right now because people are interested. Like like the manga returning got like so many likes on Twitter, and like even the videos that I released, like even the video that I released for Magna and Mario Leona, like that idea was like something that I loved, right? That I would have loved to do. But that performed really well for my channel. So like if somebody like Broker released that video, it would have done gangbusters. That's such a weird usage. But yeah, so I don't think BC in itself has little traffic. It's just the fact that the anime did not get announced really took a blow to that. But yeah, right before that, it was a crazy time to be making the content. But anyway, Broker says, did I ever tell you that I think Lumiere's supernatural luck stopped him from destroying the world? Really? What does that mean? No, I don't know what that means. Broker, if you want to like hop on Discord or something, let me know, because that is... What the hell? What does that even mean? Yeah, that sounds interesting as fuck, man. I would love to know what that's about if you got the time. Or like, text me on Twitter if you don't have the time. I would be interested. Okay, I guess I'm a little out of the loop. Yeah, I mean, it's not like that. It's just that, well, people don't make Black Clover content at all. Like, think about it. The biggest YouTuber who's making the biggest Black Clover YouTuber is Broku. And he's unfortunately unable to make videos, due to personal reasons, obviously understandable. But yeah, like that, and the couple with the fact that there's just not enough to talk about, and how many people kind of want to sit and think about, like analysis, like how many people want to do analysis for characters, and what's the most interesting thing about those characters right now is how they end up, like once they're done, I'm sure that like people will be interested in making analysis videos. But yeah, like you can just like the way that I did that particular concept about like what humanity is, like not a lot of people would think about even doing that, because again, like that's not what you're here for Black Clover for. Because says I can just drop it here. Yeah, for sure. Make sure. I'll definitely read it out here, because I'm like super interested in what you're trying to say there. Okay. So yeah, what was I saying? I think I said everything that I want to say. Whatever. Okay. And where is this guy? Over here? Yeah. Okay, cool. So once Emo joins back in, we'll start part 2 after a quick recap. But other than that, how's it going, guys? How's it been? It's been a while. It always is a while with me. I know. But I am curious how things are going on, getting on with you guys. And I'm just going through like some of the theory videos I made back in the day, man. Whew. Bangers. The fourth Socrates sibling is still like crazy. I hate that my channel is so small and it doesn't do like that. The views are not as great because I don't know, like predicting Julius is evil, or whatever. Like, you know, like obviously Broker did that. So many people did that. You know, like most of the fandom was convinced. Obviously, I hated that theory, so I forced myself to not be convinced by that. But I feel like figuring out the Zogratis sibling, like the Zogratis have a fourth sibling before even like what do you call it? Like the Xenon flashback, where like it's revealed that there was a fourth sibling. Like I did that before that. Like that was a crazy theory. I don't know what the fuck I was on. I was on crack or something, man. I don't know. I don't even know what crack looks like, so that's a funny thing to say. But so Lumire's plan was to make the swallowtail and pair it with the magic stones to essentially give more magic to the peasants and commoners. Right, right. Um, right. I know that. But that's also a good point. I need to write that down here. Where is it? 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 Um, wait, whatever. I'll do that. I'll do that over here. Um, Lumiere creates swallowtail. Humans use it wrong or whatever. Yeah, I'll just add that in so that, you know, I can get that in there. But yeah, thank you again, Baroku, coming in with more lore. Love that. Okay. Let me see here. So yeah, so I do know that. I do remember that. And if I remember right, the magic stones were... Oh, there he is. The prodigal son appears. What's going on? Let me say, can you speak again? I can't hear you.
Nothing much. What's happening?
Okay, I gotta increase your... You're all the way up, but you're like super... Okay, maybe it's because of this. Speak again?
I'm about to get closer. Yo.
Okay, I can... Yeah, again, please?
Yo.
Perfect.
What's good? All right.
That's great. Thank you. Like I said, you put there Lumiere creating Elstokia. Oh yeah, perfect. Thank you. See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Think more on this late, right? I love this idea. Let me add in the comment here. Okay. So Emo, do you know what we're doing?
The timeline stuff, but I haven't seen like exactly like what all the points are yet that you've
Oh,
connected.
okay, gotcha. Okay, so how do I gotta share my screen. Okay, before that though,
I'm just watching on stream currently.
yeah, cool. Oh, you are watching my stream currently? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it all is, but give me 1 second. Let me finish reading Broku's chat. But magic stones are connected to the underworld, the same power that turn light into a demon when losing change into that. Okay, let me read this again. What is he saying? Magic stones are connected to the underworld, the same power that turned licht into a demon, right? And when Lumiere absorbed that power, it changed him so that his power could affect Zagrod. Right? Yeah, that makes sense, Broku. That is true. That is true. I wonder where you're going with this. But yeah, okay, cool. Let's let Broku type out his theory.
Let him cook.
Oh no, he did cook. Okay. Sekre did one spell using the magic stones and it made her grow horns and she was a noble. Using Swallowtail to amp the commoners and peasants with magic stones could have turned them into demons or devils. Okay. Yeah, it could have, but it didn't because he was lucky. I assume is what your theory is, Broku. It's a good point, but I gotta confirm something first. Let me see. The magic stones, are they inherently forbidden? Do you know, Emo, if the magic stones are inherently forbidden?
I mean, like, I don't think they would be, because like,
Right. Because okay, so
They were pretty like irrelevant, like to the people in the Clover Kingdom. They looked pretty irrelevant.
right. Okay,
Or
let
like
me.
in the series, nobody really knew like what they were really for. So like,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think I might know which chapter might tell us if that's the case. Okay, 101. So that's volume 12.
Fuego Leon also had one, if I remember correctly.
Right, right. Yeah, Fuego Leon, they all had, but did they use it? They just had it, didn't they?
Yeah,
Um, let me see here. Let me see here.
and Yuno didn't like. I'm assuming Fuego Leon got it like as an heirloom or something, but
Mm,
Yuno did not get it from like the royal family. It was from like what
okay.
was it? It was Ralph's father who found it like in a magic zone or whatever.
Right, right. And not just that, like, go into chapter 101, we finally get, like, an idea as to what they are. Because the Witch Queen says that stone is a type of magic item that amplifies the magic of its wearer. So this is chapter 101, by the way, Emo. The only ones to truly master their use were the elf tribe. The origins of the elves are unclear. However, they're a race that possessed a great power, lived in what is now called the Forsaken Realm several centuries ago. Um, each will equal to me, some of them even equal to the me. Okay, interesting. Um, so yeah, given the fact that um, the Witch Queen is literally using it to amplify her power, even after everything, it kind of makes sense that it's not, what do you call it? It's not forbidden in and of itself. Humans can't really use them because they're not loved by mana. That's why Sekre grew horns and became arcane. But didn't Sekre use a literal forbidden magic spell though? I don't think she just like her using it alone. I don't think made her like grow the horns. I think that she used it, elevated her magic, and then used forbidden magic. I think that's the problem there, right?
If I remember correctly, that was the case.
Okay, so let me see which chapter and everything.
It's also interesting that
Mm,
in 101, the Witch
yeah,
Queen also points out that the origin of the elves are
is
unclear.
unclear.
So like,
Yeah, that's a very interesting line. Yeah, but then if you keep going, she also says humans outnumber them. They fought and were annihilated. That's not um, that's not what that is, right? So
yeah.
so yeah, I think it's just that. So as old as the Witch Queen is, I don't think she's okay. Before we keep going though, like when we get to the timeline stuff, I'll explain more. But let me just confirm this. Da 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 da. Reports. Lemuel fights. Lumiere uses the siphon to absorb the monster's magic. Tool breaks it. Okay, where is this? Okay, can you take a look at chapter 205? Oof. Okay, so 21. Okay, I hear it. If one who is not beloved of mana uses those even for a trifling spell, they won't be able to maintain their human shape. Okay. Okay. So Broku was right. If you're not beloved by mana, using it for a small spell too, you will be affected by the arcane stage. Sorry, you will be affected by WEG. But that doesn't mean they're like inherently forbidden magic. Then, interesting. Okay. When Lumiere observed that power, it changed them so that magic could affect Zagre's magic. Sakre's using Swallowtail to amp could have turned them into demons or devils. Human can't really use them. Interesting. Yeah, okay, Broku. I understand what you're saying. That's a good theory. But, I'm assuming that your theory is not done yet. I think you're going to keep going with that, right? So, yeah, I am curious to know how exactly that's going to go. But while Broku, wraps up, but it stated that the magic stones use power from another world that would be negative mana, and Sekre did a regular spell just boosted with magic stones. Let me confirm.
I think okay, like one of the like weird things about this, or like not really weird, but like unexplained portions of this whole picture is like we don't really understand what makes a forbidden spell forbidden,
Right.
and like who's forbidding it.
True.
Is it like I assume it's not legally forbidden, right?
Right.
But like
Yeah,
by the
it's obviously not
rules.
legally forbidden. What the hell?
I mean, obviously,
Why would you
right,
even think
right, but
that?
like,
Right.
okay, but like, it's forbidden not because of like not because society says it is, but like because it might like in nature be forbidden because it goes against the rules of magic or something like that.
Right.
We don't
Right.
like truly understand what makes forbidden magic like truly forbidden.
That's true. That's true. All right. Anyway, let's. I'll like introduce you to the topic so we can get on ahead with it. But yeah, so I'm splitting up the entire Black Clover timeline into 5 different eras. The first era is the creation and destruction era. The second one is the Age of Legends. The third one is pre-Asta, right? So what am I calling that again? The decline of the Clover. I don't know what I'm calling that yet. The third era, but yeah, it's like everything after the 20th Wizard King, which is Edward Avalanche, to the birth of Asta, right? And then the fourth era is obviously Black Clover, and the fifth era is Basta, Asta the Next Generations. So yeah,
Pasta.
yeah, no, it's Basta, like Boruto Basta. So yeah, there you go. And so I know you can see the color coding over here. So yeah, if you can take a look, a creation of the world, expulsion of Lucifer from heaven. So that's pretty much where I'm starting, right? Like God said, "Let there be light." Light was there, and then Lucifer was expelled for his whatever of humans, right? For his jealousy of humans or whatever. So these two things, like, it's never gonna be stated in the manga. It never is stated in the manga, is what I assume. So I'm putting these in orange because I feel like that is like it's bordering on theory, but like it's a heavy assumption. So I'm gonna mark that in orange. And then the next one says birth of Astaroth, Beelzebub, various levels of the underworld, the birth of Lucifuges, Megacula, and all the rulers of the various levels, creation of other devils. So obviously none of this is ever stated or ever will be stated, but it obviously had to have happened. So it's in blue, right? Like this is pretty much confirmed,
Alright.
but it doesn't need to be thought about. Like you don't need to think about it too much,
Yeah.
right? And then the green is pretty much anything that's canon. So in the overworld, Judaism as a religion takes shape, indicated by the candles in the religious place that Nacht fights during the Spade Arc against Nama and Lilith, right? And then the grimoires are created or discovered. So all of this I would consider to be canon. But you know what? You're right. It's not, what do you call it? It's not stated in the manga. So I'm going to mark it in blue, actually. It makes more sense to mark it in blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not like literally in the manga, though. Because okay, think about it though. Like with Christianity, is never like the word is never uttered, but it's obvious that it exists, right? So it would be a green.
Yeah.
So I also like you see like a place of worship for what you would assume is Judaism. You know, the Judaism
Yeah,
religion.
and like Black Clover takes like a lot from the Kabbalah too, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna mark it back in green. Okay, so yeah, so that's green. And then the ancient civilization made up of all the races is the one that does the discovery or creation that I put in orange because the ancient civilization made up of all races is heavily implied in the dungeons, as the creators of the dungeons, but, it's not sure that they're made up of all races, blah, 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 whatever. Sun starts worshipping Buddha and the other Shinto gods. This is obvious because we do have that one Ryuzen, right? Land of the Sun discovers Yorioku. Instead of grimoires, they discover scrolls. All of that is in green. Creation of grimoire splits, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty much implied, right? It's still one kingdom. That's an assumption. Split into various provinces, two of which are named. Yeah, we don't know when this would take place. So, but it does take place. So this is canon. Are you reading it, by the way? Can you see my screen? I should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I'm reading it from you. Are you streaming on Discord? No, you're not.
Should I?
I think it'll be easier because there's no delay.
Got it. Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen.
All right, it's loading. I see it.
Okay. Oh, we got some other chats. And Yami says in Naruto, forbidden jutsu is considered forbidden because they could be dangerous for the user when cast. Yeah. And also, so the other clans can steal them. Could be something like that. I think anything that gives you WEG is forbidden in Black Clover, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then how do you know what it is before you do it, right? So yeah, there you go. That's pretty much it for the theory that his luck made his plan not even begin, and he became a legend instead of a terrible scientist. Oh, yo, that's a great theory. You should definitely make a video. I would love to watch that video, Broku. No, but because like I've tried to break apart that theory. I wasn't able to, so I think it's a pretty strong theory, Broku. So definitely go ahead and make that video for sure. I would definitely watch that. Anyway, coming back to this, Yeah, Clover humans worship the elves as gods due to their immense magic. Ancient Kingdom creates magical spaces and items. This is obvious from the dungeon stuff, right? And we know that the Ancient Kingdom or civilization made this, right? And then dwarves create magic stones. That's an assumption from me. It's a pretty strong assumption, like pretty much, like who else could have done it, right? And then the era of then we have an era of complete magical prosperity. It's an assumption, but obviously it's a good one, I would say. And then magical supremacy leads to experimentation on forbidden magic.
How does like Sephiroth like fit into this?
You mean the Cliffoth?
The god? No, like the god the elves worship.
Oh, okay, yeah, great. Thank you
Because
for being here.
they
'cause I
are
was
they
not
are a
thinking about
confirmed
that at all.
existence.
Got it. Okay. Sapphira, Elven God. Cool. I'll keep that in mind because that's an interesting. I completely forgot about that actually. Like I completely forgot that that's an actual god that exists in the story. Wow. Oh, dude, there's just so much. Like we're not even at Lumiere yet, emo.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like I was just talking to Broku about this. Like, I'm somebody who's usually like, Black Clover world building could be better. But then, like, looking at all the lore, like, wow.
Yeah, once you dig, there is a lot.
Yeah, it just keeps going on and on.
Like
and
just
on and
a
on.
lot you can infer.
Yeah, for sure. It's most of it is inference for sure. At least in before the Age of Legend stuff. But yeah, even the Age of Legend stuff. When we get to it, there's so much that happens, man. But yeah. Anyway, keep going on here. Magical supremacy leads to experimentation on forbidden magic. Devils are contacted and worshipped, which obviously would happen, right? Like magical supremacy would lead to like them wanting to do more and more and more in experimentation, right? Especially on forbidden magic, which is obviously forbidden, right? It's probably not even forbidden at this point. It probably becomes forbidden later on, or maybe Sapphira like tells the elves that like, hey, it's pretty forbidden, bro, and then they tell the humans, but they still do it regardless. But yeah, devils are contacted and worshipped because obviously you have the quote unquote devil worshippers, right? That we already see in the original story. It's probably something that has happened before. Based on the info from devils, right? Obviously the devils would have manipulated them. The Tree of Cliffoth is summoned.
And there's also like Nacht's family were like devil contractors for like generations.
Yeah, but devil contractors doesn't mean devil worshippers, and we've not even gotten to the creation of the Clover Kingdom yet, so we're not getting there just yet. Again, this is like way before everything. This is still Ancient Kingdom stuff. So yeah, basically Tree of Cliffoth happens, Lucifer comes in, destroys the world to a large degree, and then they have their first contact with grimoires, because obviously they know what it is but they don't have it, right? This is probably the first time that they come into contact with it. And then I'm very sure that an elf has a cloak that has a 4-leaf is the one that turns into a 5-leaf, and a devil uses it. This marks the birth of the first dark elf and the first devil to use a grimoire, because obviously these are things that Zagreus knows, and how could he have known this unless it didn't happen before?
It had to happen.
Yeah, if it had to happen, it would have happened during the Cliffoth incident, and that would make this a blue, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah, cool. And then Leviathan, Dryad, and the 4 primary spirits, they exist, obviously, that's why they're in green. And Gnome, we don't know the name yet, so I'm put it in blue, are involved in the battle against the devils. Obviously, they would have been.
Or
the Earth
Gnome
Spirit. Yeah, the Earth Spirit, yeah. And then the battles during the Cliffoth incident likely led to the creation of the strong magic regions. I feel very strongly about this, because why would that region exist if not? And then I think the 5-headed dragon that attacks the land of the sun was likely a creature from the underworld escaped during the mortal realm due to the Cliffoth opening, because it kind of makes sense, because if that's their ancient history stuff, and if it's so deeply connected to the underworld, when could it have happened other than the previous Cliffoth incident?
Yes.
And yeah, if it was big enough to have affected the entire world, but every single level opened up and Lucifer came out, it stands to reason that this makes sense, right? Yeah.
I think like the dragon's probably related to like either Astaroth or like Beelzebub.
Yeah, I would say it's Lucifugus though. Lucifugus.
Yeah, actually, like it could just be that. Okay, Lucifugus was stated to be like the servant of the big 3, right? So it could be that Lucifugus was like the herald of one of the 3, or like 2 of the 3.
Yeah, Or but it could be Beelzebub or Astaroth as well. We'll get to all of that. Yeah. Anyway, the heavenly maiden stopped the rampage. Blah blah blah. Like it's everything that's in the manga, right? It's literally the exact same thing, and then the clouds never
Right.
disappear. Yeah. So the reason why I think it could be Beelzebub, Astaroth, or Lucifuges is because twists space time, right? Like spatial and time magic that are involved. But at the same time, where like the Yami clan exists, how do they exist, right? Like it has to be Lucifuges. So I think there's something that happens there. But regardless, I think the dragon could have just been like a servant of Beelzebub or Astaroth or something. Probably Beelzebub because that's the only devil. Like Lily tried to kill him, but then Beelzebub probably took him to So yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, in some, like, demonology, Astaroth is, like, depicted with a dragon.
Oh, there you go. Right. Yeah. Okay. So that makes a whole lot of sense.
I think, like, in my thread, I quoted, like, the exact thing, but I could maybe pull it out.
Gotcha. No, you don't have to. I want to speed through this because I spent like over an hour and a half on this. There's like 3 people watching the stream. And like, oh, it just went down to 2. That's amazing. Okay, great. Thank you guys.
And I'm one of them.
Oh, and the other one is me. Fantastic. It's literally just us. Okay, no, but this will be recorded for later on. So yeah, let's keep going. So somehow, obviously, they're all sealed back into the underworld, likely through the combined efforts of all the races, and start part by a star magic user. Yeah.
I can add something to this point.
Okay.
The way Zagred unsealed, like, in the Shadow Palace, the way Zagred, like, the moment the whole thing got revealed is when he used the stone on, like, the pillar thing in the Shadow Palace to, like, free himself.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that, like, the magic stones, clearly they have, like, the power of the other world.
Yeah.
Or, like, the underworld. To some extent.
Yeah.
The Shadow Palace, like, was beneath the castle originally. Right. If you reread the manga or like the Elf arc.
No, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And in the Spade arc, like, I think the Spade also has like a similar thing beneath its castle.
Yeah, that's where the Qliphoth comes out.
Yeah, and I think like the way, like the reason the stones were crafted was specifically so that they could seal them.
Yeah, for sure.
And like the Spade and the Clover Kingdom were part of it. I don't know about like Diamond and Heart though.
Spade Kingdom. I feel like Spade Kingdom is where the initial Qliphoth thing happened as well, because like that land is always in winter.
Honestly, only Clover and Spade has really had a history with demons.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, they're all defeated, likely through combined effort of all the races. And if you remember, like, history will repeat itself. That's the video that I made. Byron says, sup, Buzzard? What's up, Byron? I remember you. It's been a long time. Yami says, nah, I'm still here. Oh, man, I appreciate you, Yami, sticking through us repeating things. Yeah, I do appreciate you a lot. Because, we got something cooking over here. Let's get to the other era soon, okay? And yeah, and I definitely do think, Emo, that a Star Magic user was part of it because, we have information on, the fact that, like unique magic was passed down, right? So definitely Star Magic existed before. And if not, then why would it exist? If not for this, right? And then during the destruction, mistrust seeps in, races split apart, most people are dead, obviously, living separately, and the kingdom is split into various kingdoms, Diamond, Spade, and Clover, based on the existing factions. Jesus, or the son of God or prophet, is born into the Spade region, travels to the Clover kingdom. I say the Spade region because that's where Judaism still exists, right? So I'm guessing that's pretty much the area where Jesus was born, and travels to the Clover kingdom, obviously, because Christianity is established there, and the cross is established, and you see that only in the Clover kingdom. You don't see the churches or anything anywhere else, right? Even in the Spade kingdom, like we don't see it yet. The first queen of the newly formed Heart Kingdom, who grew to be a woman during the struggles against the devils, because I definitely think that she was involved, or like she witnessed the Qliphothic incidents, right? She befriends Undine and all of that stuff. The Undine stuff, we know that it's manga canon, so I'm skipping over that. And then Leviathan begins its slumber, after having fought in the Qliphoth incident. And the underwater temple is established in reverence to the Lord of the Sea, which makes sense, for them to have established the underwater temple now. Because, they're pretty disconnected, but kind of connected to the Clover Kingdom. So it would make sense for the underwater temple to be established after the kingdoms are separated into Clover and whatnot.
Mhm.
Yeah. Byron says, just drop by. You got to get back active, my guy. The community needs you. Brother, I dropped a video 2 days ago. And I will be dropping another video next week. So, and I'm doing a live stream right now. I am pretty active. Yes, sir. The community needs to be, like a little bit more active on the non-mainstream stuff, I would say. Because people are just looking forward to like, oh, anime's back and whatnot. I feel like if people were a little bit open-minded into like looking at like non-typical videos, they'll get some really good content out of it. But yeah, anyway, keep going, Ima. I cut you off. My bad.
Yes. How are we tying in like Leviathan probably being like a demon devil?
I don't know yet because we don't have any indication of that except for artistic designs. We don't got dialogue. We don't have.
It is artistic, but like there's several points. Okay, first off, it looks pretty devilish. Second off,
Yeah.
Noelle.
Yeah, purifies it
Noelle
just
gets
like paladins. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, not just that, but also like she makes like a contract with it, right? And then it becomes a little chibi dragon, just like Lee.
Yeah, but then you could have that for the great spirits too. Like that's what happens with Salamander, Undine, Belle, and everything.
Yeah, but like it looks so devilish.
I mean, yeah, it could just be a spirit though. It doesn't have to be a devil. It could just be like a spirit that looks evil or whatever.
And also, I'm like pretty sure like Leviathan. I don't know like the full context of Leviathan within like religion.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure it's like more on like the devilish side of things.
You know what? We got time. Let's look it up right now. How long you got, by the way, before you have to go? And
how much? Like however much you need.
Oh, fantastic, cool. Byron says YouTube ain't been notifying me. That happens. Obviously, that's because of the inconsistency of the channel for sure. Definitely that's the reason why it sometimes notifies you, sometimes it doesn't. But at the same time, like if more people like interacted, liked, commented, and like shared the video and stuff like that, YouTube would start recommending it to more people. So yeah, like if you guys can do that, definitely do that because I would be motivated by more people watching stuff. Because I hope like there's zero monetary. Like I don't get anything. I don't get any money doing this. It's just for the love of the game. And Yami says, I always assumed it was the ocean spirit. Yeah, the Lord of the Seas, what I've been calling it too in the script. But yeah, go ahead, Emo, you were saying?
Okay, the first thing I get from Wikipedia is Leviathan is often an embodiment of chaos threatening to eat the damned when their lives are over. In the end, it is annihilated. Christian theologians identified Leviathan with a demon of the deadly sin envy.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, okay.
That is, I don't know, sounds pretty devilish to me.
Okay, so I'll go back to a very old thought I had then. Is the Leviathan the same as the five-headed dragon then?
Actually, like, now that I think about it, maybe they're more like a neutral creature, like...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I said, like, random spirit.
Yeah, but, like, they could... Like you say random spirit, but that's already kind of like a distinction away from the like demon stuff. Like I'm saying by neutral, it could like literally be in the middle. Like it could be anything. Like it could like theoretically
I disagree.
Use like devil powers.
No, see, if you're talking,
function like a devil.
No, the spirits are not the opposite of devils. I definitely don't think that's the case. Spirits are just spirits. Like they're just mana. Like they're just mana, in physical form. Because Undine is just water in physical form. And yeah, like it's probably created by God or whatnot, and that's what makes Saint Stage possible. But that's why they're like the four earthly spirits, right? Like Leviathan being a spirit does not mean it has to be a devil, or like does not mean it has to be good. But like with what you said about Leviathan in the Bible. Okay, wait. Byron says in the Bible, Leviathan is a beast God created a long time ago, and then shows Job to be the beast to prove to him what? shows Job the beast. Job. Oh, Job. Okay, shows Job the beast to prove to him that he creates beautiful and ugly things. Oh, God shows the beast to prove. Okay, okay, cool. So yeah, that's what it is in the Bible then, emo. So yeah, like God can create beautiful and ugly things, and what could it makes most sense for it to be a spirit. So yeah. Hello, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
No.
not just processing.
Okay. And then Yami says it could be a corrupt spirit that was influenced by Weg. That's possible too. That's possible too. But it feels like it was created for destruction, just like Byron says. It's like a beast god. So yeah. Oh, and like that actually. Oh wow, that's a fantastic line. Thank you, Byron. Because I was talking about this earlier too. Because Lucifero, like if you look at him initially, he looks beautiful, right? Like, like
Yeah.
he looks serene. Like his face is like has no wrinkles and everything. And then he becomes angry and he becomes the ugliest motherfucker ever to live, right? So I think the whole like beauty and ugly, like that aspect of it is a great point to that, like where that could be like something that the god of the world created in the story, where like, hey, like as long as you are, like good or whatever, you're gonna look beautiful, and the second you become bad or whatever, you're gonna look ugly. So like that's a
Like
good
a
point.
reflection of the soul.
Exactly, yeah. All right. So yeah, underwater sea is established. All remnants of ancient civilizations are finally sealed to become dungeons. Right? It makes sense for this to have happened now. And the Silvermillion House takes its place on the throne as a royal house of the Clover Kingdom. And with that, the first ancient history, which is the first era, which is the creation and destruction era, finally ends. Because I think like the primordial creation and destruction probably doesn't happen anymore after this point, because the geography of the world and everything is set at this point.
Yeah, like at this point the kingdoms are formed
Yeah,
and their history begins.
right. So yeah, that was the first era, and thank you guys for sticking with me, even though I just recapped the entire first hour and a half of the stream again. But yeah, let's keep going though. Let's keep going to the next part, which is finally the second era, the Age of Legends. And emo, I know you don't know this, but yeah, this is like a reference to the Wheel of Time series, where this is like from in the Wheel of Time series, the Age of Legends is like a very ancient history, like I think 3,000 years ago or something. So yeah, something, like a little nod to that. Yeah.
The book I picked up but never read.
Right. Yeah, I've been rereading it, by the way. I'm on book 2 again. But
Boy.
I feel like this is a fantastically fitting title, because think about all the things that happen here. You get the first Wizard King established, right? And then you get the Yami clan going crazy during this timeline, during this time of history. And then you get like, like probably the Mushogatake clan, Ryuga clan, like all of them taking over. And then you get like, all sorts of like crazy legendary things happen during this time,
Yeah,
with all the
like
previous
after
Wizard
after a
Kings.
blank slate, these are the factions and people defining the world.
Correct. Yeah, correct. All right. So the first thing, the Clifford incident is a major worldwide incident. We can split the timeline now into a post-first Clifford battle against the five-headed dragon era, and then like pre and post. Right. This is what I'm talking about. This is very unclear. I gotta rewrite that. But anyway, despite the sealing of the devils after the Clifford incident, some get away. Specifically, Zagrid, though only his soul and not his body. Some, while not completely free, would still be able to affect the world, like Lucifero. Right. Lucifero still like possesses a devil that gets out into the overworld, and you still have characters like Megicula still making, contracts, and Beelzebub and like Lucifuges, like all that stuff. So yeah, that's the world that we're currently in. Right. So the first thing, Lumiere, Silvermillion, Clover, and Licht are born. Receive 4-relief Clover grimoires. Right. Obviously, that is canon. Tetia, I don't know. Tetia is born. Humans begin to fear and desire the power of the elves, stoked by the devil Zagrid. In Spade Kingdom 2, royals become demons after their friendly rivalry turns into hatred. I think this is. I would say that this does take place around the same time as the first initial. Whatever. Um,
Yeah, I feel like the two kingdoms are like very parallel.
For sure, because
I wouldn't be.
and I wouldn't even say that it's just these two kingdoms, because think about it. Um, okay, yeah, it is these two kingdoms. Never mind, because I was thinking that the Land of the Sun would be part of this as well, but no, it's specifically the Spade and the Clover Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turiorials become demons, blah blah blah. Right, they are sealed beneath the castle in House Grinberry. All royalty stands guard over them. And this forever changes the landscape of the Spade Kingdom, shrouding it in everlasting winter and fog. Licht becomes leader of the tribe. Lumiere meets Sekre. Tetia is saved. Lumiere meets Licht. Diamond Kingdom begins to mine resources. I just threw this in because, they have a huge lack of resources later on in the story, right? So it makes sense for them to start, mining for resources at a rapid pace.
And like
now.
one of the only like pictures we have of the Diamond Kingdom is like it's surrounded like with mines and stuff.
Exactly. And then Byron now says, if you need more insight into Leviathan, read the book of Isaiah 27:1. Okay, 1 second. Okay, book of Isaiah is the thing. Okay, let me see here. Book of Isaiah 27:1. What is this? Describes a future time when the Lord will punish Leviathan, a symbolic representation of evil, with a mighty sword, and slay the dragon in the sea. Ooh. Okay. Noel dies. God kills Noel, guys. Damn, okay. I wonder how Tabata's going to use that, though. On that day, the Lord with his sword and great, strong sword shall punish Leviathan, piercing the serpent, even Leviathan, the crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. Okay, yeah, I'll look into that. Thank you. Thank you, Byron. I appreciate that. But yeah, anyway, let's keep going. Patri is jealous of Lumiere's relationship with Licht and is mistrustful of humans. Tetia is with child. Tetia and Licht decide on marriage in secret, fearing blah blah blah. Elf soul traps human by possessing noble. Lumiere is freed by Sekre. And here, yeah, I forgot to talk about Lumiere creating Swallowtail and Lumiere creating Elsdokia and all of that. But yeah, like all of this good canon content. So, yeah. 4-leaf into 5-leaf. Sekre stops him. Lumiere kills Demon Licht. In the process, Zagreus uses forbidden magic to resurrect the elves. Patri is specifically reincarnated into the body of Licht, into the body that Licht should have originally reincarnated into. All of this, like, Zagreus was one crafty dude. Like, it's crazy how much, he's like, ooh, I know the mind of this little 15-year-old kid, Patri, and if he was born into Licht, he would definitely think that he was meant to do this, and Licht is the one who wanted him to do this. Like, the level of depravity that Zagreus gets to, and like how smart he is in general to have done that, is like the emotional intelligence he needs to have understood that is crazy.
Dude, Zagreb is so peak when you don't actually have to see him fight.
Right, yeah. Like, just thinking about the implications of his character is like, he's great. But otherwise, I was like, oh, yikes. But yeah. Anyway, let's keep going. Lumiere is made into stone. Prevent Zagreb, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Sekre finds Tetia alive with one of the twin children still alive in Tetia. Twill healed. Go on to meet Dryad and create Elysia. So, okay, this is something that is an assumption. I don't know if they create Elysia or if they met Dryad too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what if that's the case, like, is there a small pocket, of land, next to the Heart Kingdom that Dryad has always been in? Like, if so, then what was she doing during the Cliffhouse incident? Even otherwise, like, the only time she's ever done anything in the story is to tell, like Patri and the Third Eye to go and save the already saved Heart Kingdom people. Other than that, she's literally never done anything in the story. So I wonder why she exists and like what Tabata was planning to do with her, if anything at all. But yeah, like, even if he wasn't doing anything with her, it's just like, cool lore. She exists. It's a spirit. It's like the opposite of Leviathan. It's like, yeah, I'm like nature. I want to save everybody and everything, right? Yeah, cool. And then Sekre's forbidden magic usage turns her into an anti-bird with no consciousness. So this is interesting because, from what we understand, like, she's an anti-bird for many years, and then she wakes up and looks over the grimoire for 500 more years. So, like, how further back is the Lumiere stuff really? Is it just, is it, like, was she like an anti-bird with no consciousness for like 3 days, like a couple of years maybe? Or like, was it for much longer than that? So
I think it was much longer because by the time she found the grimoire, or maybe we don't know how long it took her to find the grimoire, but like by the time she found it, Lee was already in it.
right. Oh, do you think that's the case? Do you think that she, no, but then
Like either she was like unconscious for like a really really long time, which I think would be like a fitting consequence of like using forbidden magic,
but she only
or
used like a
or like she
legit spell though. But okay, before that, I think Aggression Brigade had Zagreus to be the one to actually massacre the elves. Oh, so the humans didn't do it and Zagreus did it himself, but that doesn't make sense. I feel like the humans were
really did see them
manipulated
there.
to do it.
They quite literally use like one of the magic items to do it.
Yeah, but from what Broku says, I mean, Broku's been right so far, so I don't want to
Mm.
step on my toes, step on his, like, put my feet into my mouth. Is that the right saying? I don't know.
I think like it's also possible that okay, she wakes up, like let's say 3 days later, like you say, and then she's just like she just cannot find the grimoire for like over 400 years. It doesn't necessarily have to be that she wakes up around the time
Okay,
Lee
fair
like
enough.
enters the grimoire.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I agree with that. That makes sense. No, but she literally says, I watched over the grimoire for 500 years, though.
Cap.
Also, one more thing. Like, how do I put it? Like, did she have to have told Asta that, hey, like, that was your mom and then your brother and he's in there? Like, do you think that maybe she was just like, I don't know who these people are, and then Asta just finds it one day? Like, what if that's what happened? Like, she probably didn't know that, because remember, like, Lysita gave Asta away before she found the grimoire, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but like if that's like I think it's just like that whole period is also very questionable to me because like she just ups and finds it.
Yeah, like, right, okay, yeah, yeah, I agree, because like, where was it? Like, was it just, how could it just have been
She
lying on
was
the
like
ground? Like, this has to be,
she's relatively close to Hodge, which is pretty close to like
yeah, the
the
demon skull.
site
So
where
you're telling
Lumiere
me that,
fell.
like, 500 years it's been, and that grimoire has been literally like untouched. Nobody was curious enough to go into the demon skull. That doesn't make sense, unless there's some time travel shenanigans, which we'll get to. But yeah, what is Broku saying?
And also like how did the grimoire then later make its way into the wall by the grimoire tower?
Right, that too. Right, so yeah, obviously it moved a little bit. Right, somebody moved it. But yeah, so
And
Sekiro
like
was
somebody
asleep for
hit it,
years.
like not just like moved it, they hit it within the wall.
Right, yeah. Sekiro was asleep for years, according to a chapter. Yeah, that's what I said. I think we misspoke when we said 3 days. I'm thinking like, the Elven massacre happens. She was asleep for like 5 years or whatever, and then the next 500 years she was looking after the grimoire. Right. So if that's the case, Lumiere being 25, like, it's been exactly 530 years since Lumiere was born, to, like, right up until Asta finds it. So yeah, that makes sense. So 500 years and some saying, yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking, Broku. And what did you say at the end there, Emo? Like, yeah, well, we were talking about the possibility of there being a time. So like, I'm thinking there's some time shenanigans going on. Like, even with the triad too, like, I feel like they're more in the like the Lumiere timeline, rather than, like, I feel like they were born during the Lumiere timeline rather than the pre-Asta birth timeline. Like, they were born all that time ago. They time traveled to a point where the Spade Kingdom was at its most peaceful and thus the most weak, and then they took over because that would have been the easiest time to take over. Something like that, I feel like, is what happened. And if that is the case, like, same thing with.
So wait, who time travels?
No, so the triad theory I have, like, this is different. Like, this is
Oh.
divorced from what we were talking about. I'm saying that the triad definitely, I feel like, could have time traveled, where the Zogratis siblings were born and kind of raised it in a completely different time, like probably around the same time as the two royal youths in the flashback. In the
Yeah, I think that would make sense.
yeah, and then they were time traveled, boom, into Yuno's, right around the time of Yuno's birth, where one, it could have been great. Oh shit, something just clicked for me. Lucius knew that Yuno would be his rival, so that's why he sent Zenon to kill him when Yuno was a baby,
Mm.
right? Because you literally see Zenon going after baby Yuno.
Yeah.
Interesting. I completely forgot about that. No, that's an interesting point because, I mean, I could have brought it up in my video that's gonna come out next week. The one I'm talking about, right, emo? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's an interesting point. Oh man, dude, I love when things just click together without anybody telling us, like Tabata ever telling us anything, right? It makes so much sense that he would try to have killed him as a baby, especially if, like by using time travel, right? Like, great, that's great. So yeah, and then after that, they kind of were like fast forwarded to, right at the end of the Elf arc where Zenon goes and gets Morris to hasten the Cliffhath and everything, and then he waits for 6 months, and then they wait for 6 months because you can't just time travel for this aspect of it. So yeah, that makes sense. I think. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, getting back to the timeline here. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Lumiere is regarded as the savior of humans in Clover and is posthumously crowned the first Wizard King. And yeah, I mean, I think that this is what happened, and I don't think like as many people think that Lumiere had children. I don't think that makes sense. I just think that the what do you call
I
it?
think it was single as hell.
Sorry.
I think it was single as hell.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think he was married.
He was
to
he
his
was
work
married
and-
to his work. Oh.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I love that. Yeah, and he had a crush on Sekre, but like other than that, nothing, right? So I feel like it's just like, yeah, man, the royal family is big, and for somebody saying, yeah, you're my descendants, does not specifically mean that you're literally, the son of my
His
son of
kid.
my son of my son of my son, So yeah. Anyway, going on. The House of Vermilion Clover splits into House Silva and House Vermilion, and House Kira is added to the royal line. I added this in specifically because I definitely don't think that House Kira was an initial
Yeah,
royal
me neither.
house. Well, Volume 24 Sorted Questions Brigade number 1 is where Tabata says Zagreus killed the elves with light magic. If you're curious, it's something never mentioned in the original manga. I always thought it was royalty. Really? Oh, I kind of hate that. Let me see here. Volume 24. I have that saved. I have that. I have every single volume downloaded. By the way, it's crazy. Sorted Blank Prey Blank. I don't see it though. Is it in between our chapters? Let me see here. It's not in volume 24. Did you mistype, Broku? Is it like a different volume or something? The 23.
I think it does kind of make sense because he wanted to.
Oh,
Give
there
him,
it is.
like,
Yeah, it is 24.
they-
Okay, so
it
let me
makes
read
sense
this.
for the plan.
Yeah. Let me read this. Was the light spell the elves were attacked with the word soul devil's magic? Correct. When he was just a soul, the spells he could use weren't all that powerful, so he reinforced them with magic items and arrays. The word soul devil had his own problems to overcome. Okay.
I think it makes sense because Zagreus knew about the fact that he was gonna reincarnate them, so he wanted to give them the impression that Lumiere was the one that did it. Hence why using light magic.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying, like, it would have been so much better if Zagreus manipulated the humans into using
Yeah.
Yeah, even if he himself created the light magic, it would have been so much better if he manipulated the humans into using said light magic.
Yeah.
It feels like it removes every single,
But-
like even the smallest bit
Yeah,
of
it kind of
culpability.
like washes the hands off a bit.
Yeah, a bit.
from,
No,
like,
it does it
humans.
like so much. Like the humans are not at all at fault now. They're just like poor little kids deceived by this devil to go in one place and then receive the magic. Like they didn't do anything, which is so weird from Tabata because he's always like painting royalty is really bad in Black Clover, which we'll get to like immediately after this, by the way, with all the other Wizard Kings. Like royals, like Wizard Kings are gay. They were doing this, they were doing that, boom, royals. And then Wizard King was this, Wizard King was that, boom, royals. Wizard King was, happily trying to fix the world, and then boom, royals. Like every single time, that's what happened. So it's weird that Tabata didn't feel the need to leave the culpability with the humans. I don't know. It just feels like, bro, it's like a genocide. Like, why would you make just one devil be the, you know, uh, perpetrator instead of delving a little bit deeper? I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, yeah, House Kira is added to the royal line. The reason why I think this is because, I mean, look at the name, Lumiere, Silver, Million, Clover, right? There's no Kira there. So I feel like even though this is an assumption, this is a blue assumption rather than an orange assumption. Anyway,
like they married themselves in.
Yeah, like, and I had this one theory long ago that the minister that Zagwid possesses to keep Lumiere from going. I'm sure that Zagwid possessed that minister to tell the royals to go somewhere to get a lot of magic, right? So since he did that, they're like, "Oh my God, you're so great! I want to get married to you," or whatever. And then he used that as a political leverage. Like, hey, I'm gonna do this. If I do this, you gotta give me somebody, somebody's hand in marriage. And that guy was Akira, because that just seems like a slimy thing to do, and the Akiras seem like slimy people.
Plot twist: Noel's father is Akira.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Because okay, we know that whoever was the father married into like the royal line.
Right. Oh, do we know that though?
Yeah, we know from the family tree. Like the mother.
But
Asir.
Yeah, but I'm saying like whatever the connection is, that could have just been to Akira though. Like it's left unsaid, and we don't get any Kiras in that family line. It's just Vermilion and Silva's, right? So the other one could have just
been from the family tree. We see like how Noel, Mimosa, and like the Fuego, the Vermilion siblings are like all related. Like the father is the one that married in.
No, I understand. 100%. No, I understand, but he could have just married in from the Kira family. Like we don't know, like, because
if Asir wasn't from the royal family and she married into.
No, I'm not saying that she is not royalty. I'm saying she's Silva, he's Akira.
All right.
They got married, just like how Asir's sister got married to Fuego Leon's father, Mimosa's father. Like they marry within the three family lines. I mean.
Oh, you mean okay?
Yeah, inbreeding. Yeah. I mean, what else could you call it? Yeah. So anyway, House Silva and House Vermilion established Magic Knight orders, Silver Eagles, and Crimson Lion Kings. I think this makes sense. I don't think like you just come in with like 15 different magic like knights and you include commoners and peasants and even nobility, right? Like, hey, a particular royal, the Lumiere, he was the first wizard king. And we now know that we need military might, and we are the royals and we're super powerful. So we're going to create that military might. Right? And we need military might, especially because, from this point on, I'll be talking about the warring kingdoms. So yeah, like I'm sure like there would have been skirmishes with the other other kingdoms at this point, which I can add here actually. Here's added to the... small skirmishes happen against Diamond and Spade. Causes realization for need of military might. Okay, so that makes sense. And then how Silva and Vermilion establish the Silver Eagles and the Crimson Lion Kings makes sense. And then a second Wizard King is established. It is now a title for the country's strongest mage and military general. I think that would make sense. Like somebody who once again saved the kingdom, right?
Or made like major achievements.
Yeah. No, but it's a military general, right? So like for what it is right now. So I do think that it has to be combat related.
But when I say achievements, I'm like they don't necessarily have to like save the kingdom.
Gotcha. Yeah. Makes sense. Like they could just be like invading someplace. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like they could just be goaded at like killing other people.
Yeah, sure. Second Wizard King. Yeah. Blah blah blah. Noble houses in the Clover Kingdom now start experimenting with forbidden magic and devil summonings. I think this would be the ideal time for them to, like in the timeline, this would make the most sense for, like, families like Faust and like Agrippa to start making deals with the devils and like contracts with some lower level devils and trying to understand what's going on again, because the world reset, and obviously this is what humans would go to, right? Like, I want more power, because like looking at nobility and looking at royalty, or rather looking at royalty, they want to be like, man, how do they do that? I want more power than them, but they have most of the O's, so they're like, okay, let's go into something forbidden. That makes sense. You disagree?
Like, I wouldn't say like entirely or like even disagree at all. The only thing that's like left up into the air is like um the Faust family. They
Yeah.
knew about like Lucifuges, and like
Yeah.
either like the way I'm thinking about it, like it could be okay. They start after like Lumiere, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because
they
they.
get that information generation after generation by like
Yeah.
probing information from like higher and higher ranked devils.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I mean, with the wording from Faust's father, you assume that they've tried summoning Lucifuges before.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to that.
All right.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what this is, though. Like experimenting with forbidden magic
Yeah,
and devil summonings, right?
but
That's what.
like, yeah, but the only thing I'm questioning is like, can we really say that like started after Lumiere or like before Lumiere?
That's a good question. I think the motivation for them doing it is to, like, for them to achieve the same level of strength as the royals makes sense. For the nobles.
All right,
I think that's an explanation that could
but
make sense.
hmm, all
Unless
right.
unless you want to say that Zagred is in the mortal world because somebody summoned him, instead of him being like sticking around after the first Cliffhoth incident.
The way how does what was her name now again? Dorothy. Like the way Dorothy spoke about like devil interference
Mm-hmm.
was through like like the seal was like sealed like shut, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Between the devils and like the human world.
yeah.
But then like human contact is like the thing that started muddling the waters.
Okay.
So like
So you don't think
if
Zagred stuck around? You think it's them?
either like Zagred for like let's say like he's like super giga smart and like before like the whole world like before the whole underworld got sealed, he had like a precaution or something where he could like by proxy do something to like gain access
Yeah, that's what I think.
somewhat to their world. Or a human like made contact because
So you're
humans were
thinking
still probing around.
the Faust family kind of summoned Zagred, and that kind of killed them, and he's just in the overworld, but only the soul after that, something like that.
I mean, not necessarily Zagreus, because like if you remember, Charlotte was also cursed by someone,
Yeah, yeah,
which like points to the fact that like there's likely more people out there that
yeah. Which is why,
have connections with devils.
yeah, which is why, like, this is a blanket statement, right? Like, noble houses start experimenting with forbidden magic and devil summonings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but like it could have been like a thing that started like way before.
Oh, before Lumiere. Okay, that's all your point is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Possible. I mean, it's clearly not relevant before Lumiere, though, right?
I mean, if Zagrid was like if
Summoned.
Zagrid was brought into being because someone summoned him or like made a contract or whatever, that would be quite relevant.
Makes sense. No, but that makes sense. But then we don't know. We'll never know for sure, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. I'm just gonna put this here though, but let me add a caveat saying this could have happened pre Lumiere death, and could be how Zag was summoned. Right, good stuff. Cool. Anyway, after that long tangent aside, let's keep going. The Witch Queen discovers immortality, or I would say agelessness. Right, because it makes sense that many generations after Lumiere's death, she would still know about the elves, right? Like she knows it, like it was like secondhand account, right? Not like it was a history book that she read.
Or either that, or like, I guess like either that. I'm thinking the reason, like, she clearly knows like firsthand somewhat, but like she doesn't have a lot of the details.
I don't know if
She's like has a general idea.
Yeah,
like,
why would you say that it's firsthand though? Because, okay, let me see here. The origins of the elves are unclear. However, they are a race that possessed great power and lived in what is now called the Forsaken Realm several centuries ago. And then Finral is like several centuries. How old is this lady anyway? So it kind of implies that she's centuries old at the very least. And each individual elf had extraordinary high mana. Many of them were equal to me. Oh, okay. So she didn't meet them then.
yeah, I mean, if she can make the judgment that they were equal to her,
Yeah,
like, she'd have somewhat of a good idea.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. Cool. So then I'll put this. She definitely isn't like from before the Age of Legends, though, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Or either that, or
Mm-hmm.
she, like, because she's like so, like, the witches are focused so much on isolation. It could just be that she made rare, like, she had rare occurrences with the elves,
Right.
but because she lives like a very seclusive life in the witches' forest.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that, like,
Yeah.
the happenings of the outside world just never bothered her
Yeah.
enough to care about like all the details.
Yeah, but she says humans outnumbered them. They fought and they were annihilated. That doesn't make sense at all, though. Like for her, it feels like hey, like 50 years before you were born, this is what happened. Kind of information.
Does it?
It reads
Or
like that. It reads like that.
It could also read to me that, okay, she's commenting about it, but she clearly doesn't know what happened. She assumes like the humans just ganged up on them.
No, but how can she assume? She knows how powerful the elves are, though. Like, just because you outnumber them, there's no way that you were able to kill all the elves.
But
She would know that.
all the elves did die, so like she had to make some kind of assumption. It could just be like she's bridging the gap herself.
I guess. Fine, that makes sense. Anyway, let's keep going.
Like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying,
I
like,
know.
it
Yeah,
could be
yeah,
either. Yeah. We can't say for certain.
Yeah. And then, so after that, the Witch Queen establishes her own country in the Grand Magic Zone, because obviously, right? I don't think that it existed before her.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then the Agrippa family member enters into a contract with Megicula, and Faust family member attempts to bind themselves with a high-ranking devil. I didn't put the name Lucifugus here because it could have been just any high-ranking devil, right? Because they're like, oh, you could even have the talent to bond with a high-ranking devil. They didn't say Lucifugus specifically. So but they clearly failed, right? Obviously, from what we know.
Right.
But
And actually, let me revisit that chapter. It was like 270 something, right?
270 something. Okay, so that should be around volume 27, right? No, it's volume 20.
Oh, it happens later, right?
Yeah, much later. Yeah, it's the not flashback. Okay. So at volume 28. Is it? Is it volume 28? No, it's 29, I think. Volume 29. Towards the end. Let's back it up. Okay, yeah, here we go. It's like chapter... Yeah, it's chapter 286. As a family, we have devoted ourselves to the study of devils for generations. You have inherited the magic and spirit. Let me see here. Show the talent. To think you'd contract with 4 devils so quickly and master their power so well, you're a genius. You might just be able to contract with this devil as well. Oh, okay, yeah, no. They
Yeah.
specifically want him to.
Lucifuges.
Yeah,
And they have like a medium for it,
right.
which implies that they definitely try to. Yeah, because they have the information on Lucifuges.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Cool. So then attempts to bind themselves with Lucifuges and fails, right? That makes sense. Because, or like, maybe they never attempted to do it because they still have the, what do you call it? The bracelet or whatever. Still, like, with them. Right? Like, how could they have this? Because the second they summon Lucifuges, like, everything breaks apart, right? And once everybody dies, even the bracelet kind of breaks apart. So yeah, I don't think they summon Lucifuges with. Okay, yeah, it makes sense that it was a high-ranking devil, and they just like shot their shot too high, too soon with Nacht. Again. So yeah. Okay, anyway, keep going. The dimensional rift outside Goshu leads to a connection between the first Yami clan member and Lucifuges. This man obtains dark magic. Yami clan is formed. That makes sense, right? This being the origins of the Yami clan. Or no?
The dimensional reference.
I think the Yami clan is formed after like the existence of the Kijin.
Of the what? The Kijin?
The kid, yeah.
No, the Kijin or wait, no, that's not right. I think I'm pretty sure you're wrong. Let me confirm here.
All right.
Which volume is that gonna be?
It's one of them.
Oh, really? Thanks, man. Okay, so it's definitely volume 34. Wait, can you see the volumes and everything on my screen?
No.
You can't?
Nope.
That's okay. I think I just shared one window.
Yeah.
Wow. There's so much that happens in this. Dude, the Land of the Sun pacing is just unreal. There's so much that happens and so much that she tells him. Like so much lore. Okay, the Yami clan is descended from a group of assassins known as the Kijin. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're
that's
right.
how I read it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. My bad. Oof, this has to change.
So like,
Yeah, Lucifuges created the Kijin,
yeah.
and like they were
Kijin
a race.
assassins that came first. Yami clan from them. Yeah, makes sense. Cool. Okay, so Lucifuges probably meets a bunch of these Kijin people, right? Like bunch of people makes them Kijin, right?
Mhm.
But then why would he do that? Anyway, like that's a story. That's a theory
Actually,
for
I
another
have
day.
one idea.
Oh, really? Okay, shoot.
And I think it's for the sake of like the Tree of Qliphoth ritual.
So you
So
think?
that they can use one of them as a sacrifice. Because I think it's the same way William likely intentionally was given World Tree Magic. If you remember my thread.
I don't remember your thread, but yeah, it does make sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Okay. Just like quick recap.
Yeah.
You remember the existence of like Patri like casual lore drops during the Julius fight that the curse that William bears comes from his mother's clan, and we know his mother was a commoner.
Right.
That like William was born from like a noble and a commoner. That's why he was mistreated, and then his curse on top of that, right?
Yeah.
And when Patri reincarnated into William, they had like two completely different magics. But like what we see from like every other elf except for is the fact that like they can only possess the ones that have like somewhat similar souls.
Mm.
So, for example, whoever possessed Rill, I forgot the name because it's been so
Lyra.
long, had like drawing or like sketch magic or whatever it was,
Yeah.
whereas like Rill has
Painting.
paint magic, right? Pottery and like William have completely unrelated magic, like entirely.
Yep.
So like my theory was that the curse that William was afflicted with was specifically to give him World Tree magic so that the Tree of Clifon could actually occur.
Okay. So.
And it's also like
Oh,
Julius is the one that found him and both Yami.
so you're saying that he should have initially had light magic instead?
Not necessarily light magic. It could like I think Pottery also like was forcefully given light
William.
magic or like
Oh no.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll tell you what it
Pottery.
is. So this is like a theory or like an assumption that I've made. Wait 1 second. Broku says, did you know that one of the original experiments that Lumiere did was making additional grimoires for people to have? What? And apparently there were elven scientists who corrupt. Wait, where are you getting this? I need to know where you're getting this, Broku. That's a crazy
bro,
statement.
what?
I've never heard that before. That blows open so many things for me. What the fuck?
But at the same time, it also makes sense.
Yeah, 100% makes sense. That's why I'm saying it blows open so many things because you even have Morris trying to do stuff like that, right? Like he combined souls, combined grimoires. So it's definitely possible to experiment with grimoires. But then elves having scientists in the light novel. Okay, which light novel is that again? Let me go save that so I can read it after the stream. Okay, while he's typing it out. Yeah, so what I think happened is that in like Licht was the one who Soul Williams' body was supposed to house, right, for Nawad Nepesh, but Zagrid, wanting to manipulate Patri into, like making sure the reincarnation happens, needed him to think that Licht is the one who created the reincarnation spell, and that he is implying that he wants Patri to do his job in his stead, which is why he's born in a body that resembles Licht's 100%, right? Just like all the other elves. So because that he was forced into that. But it makes a whole lot of sense because if William was meant for Licht, then the magic that he should have had is sword magic, just like Licht, right?
Yeah.
Or like at least weapon magic, which would have been an advancement of Licht's magic. So the fact that it was World Tree magic makes a whole lot of sense that he was like forced into that. That makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. Also similar to like how Charlotte's magic and like its I don't know the word for it, like effect or like type kind of like changed after having the red roses turn into blue.
Right.
And like
right.
once she mastered and learned how to do the red roses, like it unlocked her original abilities.
Right.
So like curses definitely can like augment the shape of one's soul and their magic.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's a very interesting topic that you brought up. But anyway, let's keep going here. The nobility joins. Wait, Broku says the original Sin Grimoire is the Book of Perfect. Thank you. I've already said that I'm going to be reading that after the stream. Thank you, Broku. So yeah, the nobility joins the royals in forming other Magic Knight squads. The Wizard King is a position now open to both nobility and royalty. I think this has to have happened because the earliest Wizard King we know of after Lumiere is Princia, and she is not royal. She's a noble. So this definitely has to have happened between, the creation of the, the position and now, right? So Royal Castle Knights are established. Only members of the Crimson Lion Kings and Silver Eagles are appointed. I don't know if you know what these are. These are the guys that basically guard the royal quarters. If you know what that is, if you know what I'm talking about, like during the Elfark, they get killed. Like that's what they exist for. Yeah, they just guard the royal castles. Yeah, I even looked it up. They're only members of the Crimson Lion Kings or Silver Eagles are appointed to the Royal Castle Knights, by the way. So it makes sense that yeah, the only royal like
factions
groups. Right? Yeah, they're the only ones that are allowed to be Royal Castle Knights. So yeah, it makes sense that it would be created as early as it is now because you even have You're even allowing commoners to become magic knights at this point. Despite it being despite there being a lot of discrimination, right? So yeah, wars between the Spade, Clover, and Diamond Kingdoms begin because up until this point, I don't think the kingdoms themselves would have been like properly warring, but that for sure like skirmishes would have happened.
Honestly, I think there's like two things I can bring up here. Okay. First off, I think Heart and Spade were likely more secluded.
Okay.
Heart has like the queen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they keep inheriting Undine and are able to use like Lolopechica is like considered like one of the weaker, I guess.
Not weaker.
Not weaker, but like of non-offensive. Like
yeah. Like
I guess we don't know how the other queens are, but like
clearly most of them
sure,
had
like some of them,
same stage.
Yeah. And like if that's anything to go by, I don't think like people easily messed with like the Heart Kingdom. Then there's also like there's the magic zones in between the countries.
Yeah.
I think like the only kingdoms that really had like deep history with like warring with each other are probably just Diamond and Clover.
But I would disagree because you see that the Spade Kingdom had rebellions very often, and then you like even like during the Star Ceremony, you see that Yuno's group, like the Golden Dawn, has gained stars for quelling battles against the Spade Kingdom. So I definitely think that did exist between Spade, Clover, and Diamond. Because I didn't put the Heart in here.
I think, but
I
like,
definitely think Spade makes sense.
The thing is, like, they're getting stars from like doing skirmishes against a triad occupied Spade, and I think that's the difference. I think like a non like triad Spade probably was more secluded because like the only times we ever like see Spade, both in like Zenon's and like Yuno's flashback, like the only like skirmishes ever mentioned are like civil ones.
Maybe, but I kind of like, why would Noct go there? Like, there's clearly unrest, right? Or do you think he only went there after Yuno's birth? Okay, that makes sense. Okay. No, but I don't think that Spade would be equivalent to the Heart Kingdom, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're definitely more combative. Because they had a literal, like, military just like the Clover Kingdom, right? The Heart Kingdom didn't. So... Yeah. Anyway, I think that's a small... Anyway, it's fine. Like, it's not a big deal to argue over. I do disagree with you.
But, like, okay. Yeah. But, like, again, like, from the movie, we know, like, all the...
I'll get to that.
Yeah, but, like, pretty much all of them are, like, tied to Diamond. Some way.
There's... no, so Jester... We'll get to it, but Jester wants to take over the entire world, all 4 kingdoms, not just Diamond. Yeah. So... that implies that there's conflict.
Or he just set his eyes for a bigger target.
I guess. Okay, anyway, let's keep going. In the Hino country, the Ages of Wars begins. Ryudo clan takes dominion over Goshu. Mushogatake clan takes dominion over Koshu. Wars continue. Yami clan works for Ryudo clan. Obviously, this needs to be changed to what we were talking about earlier, where the Kishin came in first. Yami clan gains notoriety during the Age of War. Some were given the title Kishin. Okay, so I completely got that wrong. So all of that needs to be changed. But yeah, like other than this, I don't think we have anything else for this particular moment in time, right? So let's keep going. The next thing that happens is Princea Funny Bunny is born. What a crazy name, bro. Like, who names their house Funny Bunny? Anyway, as Funny Bunny falls to the schemes of royalty, Princea becomes infamous for being anti-royalty, but due to strength is invited to join the Blue Roses squad. Princea receives her grimoire, which is a crazy thing, by the way. Like, she's literally anti-royalty, and she gets invited to join the Blue Roses before getting her grimoire.
Right, and like one funny thing is like, I guess like to the lead up to the movie, we definitely had like, I guess like okay.
we thought, okay, Jester is probably gonna be like the more strategic one or whatever.
Yeah.
With chess magic.
Yeah.
Turns out Princia is the one with chess magic.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then, like with the chess magic, she just fucking dominates.
Yeah, and
Anyways,
it's
like with
that's
brute
not even what
strength.
she's like power. Like that's not even her speciality though. Her speciality
Right.
is just throwing hands.
Right. Like, dude, imagine if like, okay, like imagine if she got like something generic but like decently offensive,
Right.
but like with the same kind of like power. Like she'd be nuts.
She would
Like it's clearly like a more strategic power.
Mm-hmm.
Because like she's dead ass a one man army. She could win entire wars.
She
by
did. We'll get
herself.
to that.
Yeah.
She did. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Princia receives her. So again, like I want to like reinforce how incredibly crazy this is. That Princia was invited to join the Blue Roses squad before getting her grimoire. Before. Like this little girl was 14 years old, and like Magic Knight squads were like, "Oh, please join us! You're so powerful." What the hell? But yeah, anyway, Princia receives her grimoire and joins the Blue Roses, becomes captain, and shortly thereafter is crowned the 11th Wizard King of the Clover Kingdom. A major war breaks out against the Diamond Kingdom. Princia's family is kidnapped, but this is not made aware to Princia out of fear of her leaving the front lines. Princia's family is killed. Princia leads the Clover Kingdom in the war and wins the war against the Diamond Kingdom. Right? That's what I was talking about. She just blew past them, bro. Princia is informed of the kidnapping and the death of the family. Due to fear of retaliation from her, Princia is falsely accused and stripped of her title as the Wizard King by her generals. Because what she, like in the movie, what is the sentence that they say? They're like, oh, you know, like she was hated for being cruel on the battlefield or something, right? Being too extreme. Yeah. So something like that. And yeah, like it's crazy. Like I thought it was a royal faction this time, but it was her own generals. Like that's what's so crazy about this. Like it's not the royals that did this; it's her own generals. It's just what a sad, tragic story.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
genuinely, like, how the fuck did they manage to seal her and imprison her?
Right.
Like genuinely, like
No, I mean,
like
so
hats off to
I feel
them,
like this is a political thing. Like, you know, you spread false accusations and she has to stand trial. And during the trial, like, oh, you know, like it's standard practice. We got to take away your magic. And she'll be like, okay, I guess. And then boom, you're also told that by the way, your family's dead. And then she'll be like, what? But she can't do anything because her magic's sealed. You know? Yeah, and then she's imprisoned in a village, random village. And then that village is attacked by bandits. And a magicless Princia sacrifices herself to save the village and dies. Like, what a G. Like, what a goddamn, like, she's so cool. She's one of the greatest characters that Tabata ever created, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so that's that. And then commoners are now accepted into the Magic Knights. I guess I misspoke earlier, but face heavy discrimination. This makes sense that it would happen after Princia's death because Jester becomes friends with two Magic Knights, Tenor and Raid, both of whom are commoners, right? Especially because we've not gotten a last name for either of them. So yeah, like they're it's now after the Princia death, or like Princia's time, that, you know, commoners are accepted. Jester Garandros is born into a noble family and enrolls in the Magic Knights, befriends fellow knights Tenor and Raid, both of whom are commoners. Jester becomes captain. Tenor's village is raided by the Diamond Kingdom. So Tenor's village, the border of Diamond and Clover. So, you know what? You would assume that Tenor is the Diamond Kingdom spy or something like that. You know, like that he would have lured Jester here. But no, it's Raid. It's just weird. You know, it's really weird because we don't know anything about Raid. It's just like, oh yeah, we're friends, buddy. And it's like, haha, I'm a spy. You know, so it's just weird. Like, if you were, then why would you not? I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, Jester goes in secret to save the village. Official orders were to be non-combative near the Diamond Kingdom border. Village is saved, but Tenor is killed. Jester achieves success as captain and is crowned the 16th Wizard King of the Clover Kingdom. Tenor's village is attacked again. Jester arrives personally as WK, just to make it clear. Raid is revealed to be a Diamond Kingdom spy. Jester is forced to kill his friend and decides to end all wars by claiming all 4 kingdoms for himself. That is extreme. But that's... I gotta say, like, Jester is easily my candidate to be, like, a main character of a series. Like if any of the older Wizard Kings, I had to talk about them or like use them as the main character, Jester would be on top. Because think about it, like, you know, this
They
is
all could be main characters.
yeah, they all make great characters, but he would make a great main character. The rest would make
No,
great
I mean
side
like
characters.
I think like I would genuinely be interested to follow like Princia's story.
But there's no, how do I put it? Like, it ends in tragedy though, right? Like it ends in tragedy, and it's very
they
like
all end in tragedy.
no, yeah, I know. But what I'm trying to say is like Princia's story ending in tragedy is like even if you were writing a story about her, and like if you were writing a shonen manga, like nobody wants a shonen manga to end in tragedy, right? Like Black Clover is not going to end in tragedy, right? But and you cannot change Princia's story in any way, because if you do, then it takes away from the story overall, like completely, right? But then for Jester, like if you don't change the ending of, like if you change the ending of the story a little bit, like everything else still makes sense. I'll tell you why. Because he wants to take all four kingdoms for himself. He's titled the Mad King for his unrelenting advancement of war against the other kingdoms. He is killed in a trap set by royalty, who become jealous of his achievements. Like, this is such a nonsense sentence. Like, if he's able to, you know, like, get over the royalty's jealousy, and, like, sorry, not jealousy, is if he's able to get over the, what do you call it, the schemes of royalty at that point, like, at that last second, he would just go on to become king of the world, right?
Right.
But like for Princia, it is important that her family's death was hidden from her, and then before she was even able to do anything, her people betray her, right? Like she would make for a fantastic side character, like the one that a character like Jester would want to get justice for. But yeah, Jester wanting to become king of the world. I mean, sign me up, bro. That sounds like a main character, honestly, or main villain.
All right.
You know.
All right.
Yeah. And then Byron says Conrad or Jester could be dark counterpart Asta as a main character. Conrad, yeah, obviously. But Jester, I don't know. I don't think Jester is a dark counterpart to Asta as a main character. I don't know. Would you agree with that, Emo?
Like, no. I can see like one angle of it, but entirely no, probably not.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's what it is. Jester is killed.
Yeah. And also, to this day, we haven't seen whatever this Aegis is going to be in the manga.
Whatever
you know
the
what
what
I'm
is going to
referring
be.
to.
What? No, say that again.
Aegis.
Oh, Aegis? Yeah, yeah. I am curious. It has to be Yuno, though, right?
Maybe.
Like, it has to be Yuno's final form or final attack or something. Anyway, let's...
I think Tabata specified, like, was it a magic? I think it was a magic, right?
I think so.
Because
Yeah, I think
Jester
so.
was originally going to be called Aegis, hence, like, his, like, barrier magic.
Right. Okay, Broku's still in the chat. So, Broku, can you let us know if Aegis is supposed to be a magic or a character name for Tabata? Like, which is the reason why he told the team that they couldn't use it for Jester. And Jester Light Novel would go crazy. Yeah, it would be absolutely crazy. In the meantime, let me keep going. Edward Avalanche is born. Avalanche. I love Tabata's names, dude. Like, bro, just like Fuego Leon, Fire Lion. Yeah. Anyway.
John Ice. We got John Ice.
Literally, that's literally what it is. Edward Avalanche.
It's John Ice.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was like back in the day. I don't know if you know Grand Line Review, right? The YouTuber,
Yes.
the One Piece YouTuber. So he was making arc reviews for Black Clover,
Yep.
and then he got to the part where he met Augustus Kira Clover, the king, and then he was like,
Yep.
Tabata is so pretentious, like so edgy, like he named the bad guy the killer, because the only thing that you know about Kira from from Death Note is that the English
It
word
means
killer.
killer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
English word killer is adapted into Kira, but like in Japanese, Kira literally means to glint, and that's why the light magic user family is named Kira.
Yeah.
It's it's like, I mean, sometimes I get like it's really funny to make fun of Tabata for that, but sometimes it's like Edward Avalanche, like that is like Princey of Funny Bunny, like these are fantastic names to make fun of Tabata for. But then
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like making fun of him for like using Kira as a last
Actually, I
name.
don't even like. I think like, okay, I think like saying that and like being a One Piece review channel is kind of hilarious.
Right,
Because
yeah.
like Oda,
exactly.
Oda is like, dude, he will literally name characters from like their entire gimmick and like in the most straight up Japanese way possible.
Right. Where did you hear that? It does sound familiar to me though. What is he talking about? Oh, the Aegis thing. Yeah, like Tabata. It was an interview with the movie team, Netflix movie team, uh, and they were talking about how like they were gonna name him Aegis, but then Tabata was like, "No, I'm gonna use that for something else." And they did specify if it was a magic or not, but I'm not. I don't remember what
I'm
exactly it
pretty
was.
sure it was magic.
Yeah, it was a magic, I think. But yeah, if it is gonna be a magic, it's definitely gonna be Uno's because that's what Aegis is, right? Like it's like a what is it? Let me look it up real quick. Um, is a device carried by what? It's a shield, right?
Yeah.
Right. Did we get a shield for Uno? We
No.
did. We haven't.
No. The last one was like a horn.
Okay. No, that's not what I'm talking about. So what are the four forms for Uno? Boreas. It's the four directions,
Noah's,
right?
Zephyr,
Eurus.
and
Yeah, Zephyr,
yeah,
Uno,
yeah.
Eurus, Boreas, and what's the fourth one?
Noah's.
Notice, right?
Yeah, Notus. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, what's the? So then, if all four are done and none of them were shield, I wonder. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. So Edward is considered.
Like if it's a magic type, it's like probably for an entirely like new character.
Oh, don't do it. Don't say it. I don't want. I don't even want to. I don't even want to, like pretend
Why?
to expect more chapter, more a new completely new character.
Flashback character potentially. You never know.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Byron says yes, we did. It was against Lucius. Can you tell me what exactly you're talking about? I think we've kind of moved on to a different topic. I don't remember what you're talking about. Anyway, so Edward is considered strong in
He
magic.
has a shield when he fights against Lucius.
Oh, that's what he means? We have a shield for Uno? Oh, okay. So then it's not that
we?
then.
I mean, yeah, it still crosses it off as like Yuno's thing.
Yeah, so it's not going to be Uno's thing. Interesting. Let me go back and see.
Oh yeah, he does have a shield. I remember now.
Yeah? Okay.
Oh, it is Notice, but like, all right.
Oh, Notice is a shield?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just then what the fuck is Tabata doing? You know?
New character.
Has to
New
be.
character stock.
Has to be.
It can't be anything
but
else.
Let me go here though. When does the shield thing happen though? I don't remember. Do you know what chapter it is?
I think it was against like in the first clash against Lucius. Let me.
Huh. What is this? Oh yeah. Oh, it's just Notice. Yeah, okay, you're right. It's just it's chapter 360. Okay, so Aegis. Aegis, what do you guys think? Who or what is gonna have Aegis? That's a fascinating
character.
ability. I mean, could Lucifero have Aegis? I don't know, because we know it's not gravity, because in that one thing that they released on Shonen Jump.
They like all the big three have like I don't remember if Magicula had.
No, yeah, Magicula is
Question
not
mark, but
a big three, so.
Yeah, but I remember Beelzebub also had like a question mark.
Right, yeah. So I'm curious, bro. Like, what is Tabata like? If nothing ever happens, I'm just gonna be so like, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Nothing ever happens.
Yeah. Like, why would you do that, bro? Like, why would you like tempt us? Like, why would you do that to us? Like, why would you give us a question mark? Like, ooh, this could not be gravity, bro. And then just like never say anything about it again. I don't want that to happen. But yeah. Anyway, so Edward is considered super strong in magic, but is religious, and he travels to churches across the Clover Kingdom and the Forsaken and Common Realms as well. The woes of the peasants and commoners helps him decide to become a priest and raise orphaned children, which is basically like a parallel to Sister Lily's story, Oh, okay. There's something else that I wanted to talk about. Just going back to Jester for a second before we keep going, okay? This is like a really fascinating idea. Wait, 360. What? Oh, okay. We're on around the delay. Okay, so you know how was supposed to be killed off, like pre dungeon arc.
Yeah.
Right. So around in chapter 7 or whatever, right? So I'm like, what if Tabata was planning on doing the dungeon arc earlier or like right before the dungeon arc or whatever, and it's like a skirmish or whatever, and you see how in Jester's story, like Tenor's village at the border of the Diamond and Clover Kingdom was raided. So what if it was Haji that was raided, and Yuno and Asta both get there, and then Yuno dies then. Yeah, something like that, you know. And then Mars, who was supposed to be their friend, is actually from the Diamond Kingdom. You know, like what if that was the original story, and Tabata's like, let's kind of put this into this other character. You know, that's an interesting idea. I mean, it's obviously like not airtight or anything. It never can be, but I'm just saying it's a pretty interesting possibility.
Kaiser about to get ages and back the title of Shield of Clover.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that bum.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I mean, like, you know what? Fair enough. Bro is supposed to be in retirement, so like I can't hate on him too much.
Yeah.
Like,
No, but I love to hate on him. The red cloak is gonna get like, you know, who stands Kaiser, bro? Who stands Kaiser? Oh man, fascinating, dude, fascinating. But yeah, so cool. Edward is like super pious. He travels around the woes of the peasants to help him decide to become a priest. After 10 years as a priest raising his children, Edward's church is raided as a result of another ongoing war between Diamond and Clover. So yeah, I guess that makes it. Actually, let me pull up the world map for Black Clover. Black Clover world map.
that's just the Clover Kingdom.
Yeah. Oh, you can see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Universe, kingdom. How do I see?
Yeah, just go back to the images.
Brother. Okay, there you
What
go.
the hell am I seeing? Alright.
Okay, so yeah, so it's because the reason why they don't war too often with the Spade Kingdom is because
Yeah, there's
the
Grand
Diamond
Magic
Kingdom.
region.
Yeah, the Diamond Kingdom is literally right there. Okay, makes sense.
I did say like Grand Magic regions would make Spade more secluded.
Yeah, you did say that. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, coming back to this. Yeah, another ongoing war. His children die. An enraged Edward kills the invaders. His anger leads him to becoming a magic knight, popular for protecting the weak and most importantly for one. This is so cool though. Okay. Let's delve a little bit deeper into this. By the way, so he wants to protect the weak, and most importantly, he wants to dissolve the borders between the various realms of the Clover Kingdom, right? And he's crowned the 20th Wizard King. So basically, like even Princia, who's anti-royalty, she was promoted to Wizard King, and so was Edward. Like, bro, like how are you anti-nobility so far back and still being promoted to Wizard King and can't do anything else? So I think that's where like they were still kind of discriminatory, you know, because if you like as Wizard King, how do you not get anything done? Like even Lucius got the star system done, right? Right. So yeah.
But like even then.
Yeah, I mean it was nothing. I understand it was nothing. Yeah. But bro, like Lucius is the first one to make a commoner a king, like a knight, captain. Sorry. Jack, yeah. Also what?
Yeah. But also, it says to solve the borders. We don't know, like, what that... Or maybe you do, actually, because I haven't read the novel. Okay. But, like, maybe the borders were, like, stricter to the point where, like, the peasants couldn't, like, even enter, like, the commoner realm, for example. Whereas, like...
Okay.
I think travel is pretty free nowadays.
Oh.
Like, you could technically travel up. But that doesn't mean you get to stay there.
That's interesting. And, like, okay, so you're saying they were not even allowed.
Yeah, I'm saying like maybe the borders weren't like I'm saying nowadays the borders are more a description.
Yeah. Okay.
Than an actual like enforceable thing.
That's great. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's great. Okay. Anyway, so due to wanting to retain the status quo, the royals claim forced charges and strip him of his position as Wizard King. Like, how easy was all of this to do, dude? Like, Damnatio is literally just like carrying along his like ancestors, you know, like he's literally doing the same thing that everybody else in his family did, I guess. Edward leads a resist. Okay, yeah, this is the crazy thing. Edward leads a resistance against the corrupt nobility and royalty and starts killing as many of them as he can. Like, there was an actual rebellion. Black Clover Civil War arc. We actually got it, but it was in the past.
It in a flashback.
And then the good guys failed.
Right.
How do you have
Honestly,
absolute
like,
zero as a spell?
Yeah, like,
and
okay,
who,
I can't
who
lie.
captured you, bro?
Yeah, like the other two, I can, like, you could justify how they kind of got lost, or like how they lost.
No, I disagree.
Because
like, even like what's his name? Fuck, I forgot. Jester. How do you kill him? Did you see his like shield magic or whatever? Like, do you see how
Right.
powerful he was? Like, they were like all of our crazy
Yeah,
mages
yeah,
were still not able to do it.
they put sea magic stone cuffs on him, trust.
Yeah, it's all a devil fruit, and
It's all a
yeah,
devil.
no, they just like threw salt water at him and he died. Yeah. Oh man.
No, but like, okay, but like, you could say, okay, he was tricked, like he was tricked in a way where like his magic was in a position, or like he was in a position where his magic was weakened or like incapable of functioning, whatever.
I guess.
You could make up something like that.
Yeah.
Here,
so-
it's an outright battle, and they somehow still defeat him.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they still no, even for Jester though. Wait, let me go back. How exactly is he killed again? Okay, yeah, he's killed because they're like jealous of him. How so stupid, dude. Okay, let me see here. Despite his plan, Jester continued gaining support as achieving it would bring other nations under one banner and foster growing peace between the warring kingdoms and the villages and territories affected by these wars. However, Jester's growing influence greatly upset, who set a trap to get rid of him once and for all. Okay. They set a trap, bro. Like, is Zora the one setting these traps? Like, what is going on? Like, how are these wizard kings dying to these traps? Okay.
Yo, maybe they're just stupid. I can't lie.
Yeah, maybe they are. Maybe they are stupid.
Princia, I can kind of get.
Yeah, Princia definitely I can get. And yeah, even Edward is just like straight up killed. Like, was
Right.
captured and killed, you know?
Okay, it says later captured, or like you wrote later, but like, or we don't know how much later.
It says
Or
Edward
do
was
we? I
eventually
haven't read.
captured and later executed. So that begs the question, how far into his resistance did he get? Like, how far did the rebellion get? You know?
Like, okay, what if, okay, aim out. What if, like, he got to a point where, like, he almost succeeded, and then, like, late, or, like, maybe, I don't know. Like, he led the rebellion, killed stuff, and maybe technically succeeded, and, like, maybe they reached, like, some compromise. But then, like, the royals didn't stick to their word, and then later...
No, but that's
like,
the thing, though. Like, Edward is more like Punisher, you know? Like, that character where, like, hey, if you're bad, I kill you. So he was actually just killing people off. So yeah, like I think there's a possibility, you know, I'll discuss this. I was thinking about it for a while. You know the anti-monarchy noble faction? The
Yeah.
ones that actually were about to kill Augustus?
Yeah.
Right. So what if they kind of joined along with Edward because they wanted to get rid of the royalty, but then once they realized he was going to kill all the nobles too, like they kind of helped in the execution and capture by working beside him.
Could be.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, fraud Golion victim. I'd love to see. Yeah, he's talking about Kaiser, by the way. I'd love to see Edward's resistance. Yeah, dude, that would be such a fantastic. Like, man, there's so many spin-offs you could do. Like, I hate the fact that My Hero got such a long canon spin-off, and we can't get anything. You know, it sucks that we're like so.
Yeah.
It's so dry, bro. Being a Black Clover fan is so dry.
I think it's also because, like, it's a different author altogether.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why not? Like, give.
I mean, if Tabata is already, like, tired out from just doing Black Clover, you think he'd want to
No, I'm saying-
supervise another series?
No, for sure. Yeah, why not? Like, he's no longer doing weekly though, bro. I mean, Horikoshi.
Oh, well, now, okay, yes.
No, but
Now it's a different
Horikoshi
story.
was like Horikoshi was still like doing My Hero when Vigilantes came out. I'm saying it could be a similar kind of thing.
Yeah, but like it was heavily tied together,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
extremely heavily.
yeah. Like, but if you're doing a spin-off about, the 20th Wizard King, how much similar, like how closely tied does it have to be? Like you get an okay from Tabata on the lore and everything, and you're good to go.
I guess.
Yeah. Broku says, oh, there's a bunch more. Okay. Maybe they stole El's Dokia and that allowed for them to kill Edward. There you go. Yeah, magic items, bro. Magic items. Or what if the Kiros work with the devil worshippers to take him down? Yeah, definitely. I can definitely see that happening. I had this theory, like, one of my big theories, right? Like the lies of the Clover Kingdom. Like if you remember that.
Yep.
Yeah. In that one, I talk about how the Kira family is probably the one that started off the research into forbidden magic and like things of that nature. And then once they became royalty, they're like, oh, we wash our hands of this. But obviously, like on the down low, they would still be doing it because they just seem like that kind of family. And yeah, like for what Broku said to happen, like that makes a whole lot of sense for it to possibly even happen. So. Yeah, JT Clover says, "Hey Broku, congrats on your bright future." Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw Broku.
I'll be back.
Yeah, sure. Broku released a video, just making updates on his channel about his life and everything. And yeah, he's gonna do some crazy stuff for his future, which as always, we love to see. So yeah, congratulations, Broku. Hope everything goes well. I think we already talked about this earlier in DMs, but yeah, congrats. Johnny Anda should be releasing yearly novels. I swear, dude. I swear. Like, how is it that the only spin-off manga that we've got is a non-canon manga based on a game, like on a video game that was pre-Elf Arc? Like, I don't know, man. It's just sad. It's just sad how far back, like how dry the entire, climate for Black Clover is. Even Tabata is not, fulfilling all the ideas that he has, So yeah. But anyway, so that's, wow, we're actually at the end. Okay, so once Emorality comes, we'll do some wrapping up and everything. But that was the second era, guys, the Age of Legends, and aptly titled by myself, if if I can say that, because there's so many legends that we spoke about today, and they're all crazy. And I would even suggest that the Age of Legends is not done, because I would even consider Ryuga to be a legend who took over, like who was able to completely conquer the entire land of the sun and everything like that. So the Age of Legends is still not done. And would we consider characters like Conrad to be one of the legends? I think so. But yeah. All right. I think we reached the end. Yeah, the fourth era. Sorry, the decline of the Clover. Yeah, this is where I would consider, like the entire Conrad stuff to be happening, and Julius coming to the Clover Kingdom with all his memories gone, and like Yami appearing and William appearing. Basically, the setup for everything that happens in Black Clover. Like the captains being born and the Zara of it all, I should say rather, and then Patri reawakening and like creating the Eye of the Midnight Sun and all of that, and all of that happening in the Decline of the Clover. I kind of want a better name for this. The Decline of the Clover just doesn't sound good. But yeah, fourth era being Black Clover makes a whole lot of sense, obviously, because that's just literally the story of Black Clover. The fifth era is Basta or Pasta. Asta Next Generation would be hilarious. But anyway, I'd like to thank every one of you who came through. There's about 100 people who came throughout the entire stream, which I appreciate. Thank you guys so much. And obviously thank you, Broku, for coming in and like so much in the chat, and WK early on in the chat as well. Leo, Yami, Darius a little bit there. Yami is the most contributing person here. Naleka a little bit too, for sure. And Byron, thank you for all those Bible references and everything. So yeah, thanks everyone for showing up. Thank you, Broku. Great stream. Yeah, how long has this stream been? Let me see here. It's been, oh my god, 3 hours? I went for 3 hours? Oh, Jesus. I'm wiped out, man. I'm wiped out. But anyway, thank you guys so much for showing up. And again, I want to remind you that there's a fantastic theory video on that I've got coming out next week. I put a bunch of effort into the editing of it all because the previous video did not have a bunch of editing. So either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I hope you guys enjoy the other content on the channel. If you're new here, make sure you go and watch a bunch of the other videos that I have out, especially the latest video, the greatest rivalry in Shonen. Oh my god, I have oh my god, the heading, the name of my video has a typo, and I did not notice it until now. Oh my god, I gotta go finish that. I gotta go fix that right now. Jesus Christ. Rival.
Yo, we're talking about pasta?
No, I'm ending the stream. We're done.
Oh, go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just telling people
It's
to go
over.
watch the rivalry, the greatest rivalry in Shonen, my latest video.
Emorality.
Yeah. And then, yeah, next week I'm going to be coming out with that, what do you call it? The theory video, which I think is, actually, you know what? Let me send you a link to that video, why did I call you
What?
I don't know. I don't know why I called you No, yeah, I'll send you a link to that video. I think it's pretty great.
Bet.
Right. Oh my god. Rivalry. Yeah. Let me just save this. And yeah, let me know what you think, because you are a video editor and everything. So I think
Right.
it's a pretty decently
Washed out.
Yeah, washed. But still, like what I did, I think is pretty decently edited, and I think even a washed video editor could tell me that he likes it. And that's what I want you to say, by the way. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
You switched to DaVinci or?
No. It's Premiere Pro. It's the same thing. Like I told you, right?
Alright.
Once I figured out what the problem was, everything was.
Okay. Bet.
Okay, but anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you everybody for coming through. And thank you, Broku, and yeah, thank you so much, Emo, for coming through. You really made the second half of the stream really easy to get through, for sure. So yeah, thank you, appreciate it. All right, thanks everyone. See you.